Cheers, y'all.
Cheers. Cheers-ity cheers.
So, Bex, it's good to have you on here. I've heard so many good things. We've been talking for like 2 hours now.
I know.
An hour. And one of the things that you said that's already stuck with me is that the tattoo that you have on your leg, right on time. You said everything is right on time, even the mistakes. And that will stick with me forever.
Oh, I'm so glad. That's wonderful. Oh, it's true though. Like the
mistakes,
for
sure.
Yeah, that's what makes us really grow. You know.
I always tell people, and like I said, but like I was telling Bryant, and we were talking before we got started. We've had a lot of people coming in and out of the podcast. We both know a lot of people, but I have to say you are at the very top of the list with people I know who have charisma.
Oh,
like it's just such a joy, the good energy, and we don't get enough of that in the world today. I feel like there's just so much negative energy, negative, and it's just fun to be around somebody who just always has a smile on their face, always positive.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, cheers to that. Cheers to that.
Cheers
shit.
to that. Yeah, yeah.
Indeed,
To the Bucky.
Indeed. Into the Bucky.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cheers to the Bucky too. Cheers to the Bucky.
See, I'm water drunk because the.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's one thing that a lot of people are missing, and I think people are kind of. It seems like you're not scared to be yourself.
That took a really long time.
When did you realize like? Because I'm starting to come into myself now, and I think Brian is too. Of like,
yeah, this podcast has helped a lot.
Fuck what everybody says.
Yeah.
You know, this is who I am. It's you. It's either for you or it's not for you.
Right.
And if it's not for you, that's okay. Whatever. I don't judge you for it. Whatever. But I think that your personality and your charisma does resonate with a lot of people.
Oh, thank you.
And like I said, when did you first notice like I'm starting to? You said it took you a long time. I'm starting to feel better. I'm starting to feel like. I'm Bex Miller. You know, like I am.
Are you?
No,
oh my God, it's so nice to meet you. Holy shit. I heard so much about you. Is it the thing about the chicken true? Okay, anyway, please.
Oh, man.
It is just who everybody knows. It's true.
What's the thing about the chicken?
I have more than one chicken story, but God did give me a chicken in 2019, a magic chicken that came out of my bushes.
A magic chicken. You just walked out one day and a chicken just.
She appeared.
Really?
Yeah, actually, she appeared on my Ring camera at first. It was like she had rung my door.
You have a presence or whatever it says.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, there's motion at your door, and I opened up the app, and I was
chicken
like,
pecking.
"There's a chicken." Yeah, and she was like, and I'm like,
hell yeah, go Gamecocks,
honey. There's a chicken on the front porch. There's a chicken on the front porch, and then I opened the door, and she was gone, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I looked, and she's in the neighbor's yard. And I was like, okay, all right. Bob got chickens because Bob's my neighbor. Bob got chickens. Okay, she's gone home. All right, whatever. And I stopped thinking about it. And then the next morning, she ran out of my bushes at me. Like, she, charged me.
She's, attacking you.
And I didn't know shit about chickens, so I was, wild. And I was like, ah! You know, like, oh, my God, what's happening?
Fuck.
Like, the Homer Simpson, super high.
Oh, yeah.
No, that one. Oh! You know, I was just like, run away. Why are you charging me chicken? Oh, my God, you're like a dinosaur. Get away. Which chickens are, they are dinosaurs.
They kind of are dinosaurs.
Yeah,
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, they are little fucking velociraptors.
Yeah.
God, they're so stupid as fuck. But anyway.
Them and alligators.
Jesus Christ. They are vicious. But yeah, I ended up rescuing her. Yeah.
I thought we were about to get into a conversation of alligators, man.
Chickens.
Really?
Right off the bat. I knew it.
They're
They're like a theme. But yeah.
So what were those?
So you were saying that you are Bex Miller.
Yes, I'm Bex Miller, and when did it come? When did you finally figure out I'm kind of coming into my own?
Oh gosh.
And what did it take to get there?
Oh my goodness. I'm coming into my own. I feel like that I actually have feeling like I've come into my own schedule for next Thursday.
Yeah.
It's happening right now.
Yeah. Which is right. Which exactly that's what life is, continually retracting and expanding.
Yeah.
Right. So feeling like I've come into my own. What I've learned is there's no definitive feeling of I'm done. I did the thing. It's more I'm doing the thing. It's the process, that's the product. And that realization, I think, has gotten me closer to the feeling that I've been searching for of when am I going to make it? When am I going to do it? When am I going to feel like I'm, comfortable in my own skin?
Yeah.
Basically.
And it's hard.
I really like that. I feel like a lot of people that are... a lot of the people that are, and especially in the South, they are so stuck in their ways. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to be that, and I feel like I am like constantly growing, but I always want to be growing. I don't want to be, even when I'm 45 or 73, whatever, however old I am, I still want to be like, oh, I can change my mind. I can learn something different. If I'm wrong,
oh yeah,
great. I can be right next.
I feel
about
like
something.
I'm sorry. I
No,
didn't
you're
mean to
good.
talk
You're
over
good. I just
I feel like personally, if when I stop learning, which I can't because I love it, when I stop learning is when I start dying. You have to learn to grow. And like if you're, and also you grow regardless of what you do.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
it's like a plant, you know, like it's going to grow until it's it's had enough abuse and toxicity for it to die. But regardless, it's growing sicker or more healthy. So,
that's good. That's a very good way to put it.
Yeah, I think that one thing I'm starting to notice, and we have I know you're big into philosophy. We have another friend of the show, Crabman, who he's big into philosophy too. And one thing he kind of taught me is that I'm always big on you need to take care of your body, but I think that you need to take care of your body and your mind.
It's equal.
I think
so
I think they're both they're 50-50.
Yeah,
they're both
for sure.
Just as important because when you do work out and take care of your body, they say it's like a 200% increase in dopamine, and that lasts throughout the day. So like that does help your mind.
Absolutely.
And also when you help your mind, like when you learn new things, you're studying, you're trying to grow your mind, whether it's I'm reading Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. The Crabman gave me that here lately, and I'm loving it.
Yeah,
Is it good?
It's pretty good. I'm not like too far in because it's one of those books to where you'll read a paragraph and you'll sit on it.
Yes, it's like a very dense meal.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like you eat it bite by bite.
Yeah.
You don't want to go through the whole. It's like one of those like 4-pound bone-in porterhouse T-bone.
Yeah.
Like,
Amazing.
where like you need
So
like
good.
4 people to eat it, or if you had it for yourself, you would eat it over a week or something like that. Like bite by bite.
I remember like one of the first like paragraphs of that book is if you was to die today, what would if you was to die tomorrow, what would you do today?
Oh yes.
Like what are some things you would change about yourself? And I was like, oh, okay, like this doesn't last forever.
Oh no.
The
wheel turns.
What
no
I
matter
change?
what.
And you sit on that paragraph for like a week.
Oh yeah.
And just kind of learn. And as you read through the book, you can kind of like challenge your mind, challenge the things that you would never even think to change. I think most people need to do that. All people need to do that.
I'm
really.
a firm believer in thinking that like obviously the journey it's all about the journey and not the destination. If you worry about the destination too much, then you get caught up in this fucking whirlpool of like not knowing what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've always said it's about the journey and not the destination. But I really feel like the last month I've like kind of noticed that I've been like hustling and doing so much shit all the time because I'm like, we really don't have that much time. And I'm like, that's kind of me thinking about the destination,
Oh, I'm
and
so glad that
I'm
you
like,
said that.
so I'm like doing all this shit because I'm like, I really don't have that. Like I'm gonna die in whatever 6 years.
Whenever.
That's really not that much fucking time. I gotta get on it. I gotta get on my shit.
Oh, Brian, I have a gift to give you.
Okay, I'm listening.
Yeah. So I was just talking to Shawn about so okay, you asked about coming into my own.
Yeah, sorry, we go down rabbit
so,
holes.
okay, well, and here's the thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have decided to implement something where we put a pin and stuff. So I hope you guys are ready to listen to everything.
Every word I have to
so
say.
I'm gonna put a pin in that. And I'm going to cross off the top ones because we're about to go back to come into my own, and something came that I can really share besides being a smart ass about next Thursday. But the phrase I'm going to say, and we're going to come back to it, is time is not scarce. And I'll explain what that means. And you're like, question mark? Relevant to interests. But I got you, boo. It's written down. So come back to me with coming into my own. Okay. Every human has like deep, meaningful moments in their life that change you in some way. Right now, your beautiful pattern recognizing brains are already unconsciously running programming saying, what are the meaningful moments in my life? Because you're trying to like put that pattern together. What does Bex mean by a meaningful moment? And you're thinking of things like a birth, a death.
I've thought about this
a wedding,
plenty of times.
Right?
Yes.
These deep, meaningful moments in your life. And I have had many. One of them is many years ago. By many, I mean about 8. I lost 3 people over the course of about 5 months that were very close to me. My father passed unexpectedly. And then my best friend Shane passed. We had been friends for 20 years. And then my mother passed. So I lost both of my parents and my brother in 5 months. That changed me in every way.
And there's no handbook to teach you how to deal with these things.
No. You got
there's
no
YouTube video. There's nothing.
No. And it won't, even if there was, it's not
going to help.
because it's unique to every individual that goes through grief, and through any extreme circumstance, And I think that was one of the catalysts for me coming to the place that I'm at now, about, 8 years later. About a year ago, I had this, what I think of as an awakening, where I, one sec, already got the dry mouth. I made an intentional visit into nature, because nature is where I connect a lot with myself and what I feel is this deep universal energy that, feels good, right, when you sit with it, because I felt lost, right, and I intentionally went out to try and find answers and into the woods, basically, and in that experience, which I won't go into right now, because what's relevant is what comes after it. I learned some things about myself, about letting go of my own pain, really, and the reasons I was holding on to it, and so on, which, because we live in this beautiful web of circumstance, all of us, everything is connected, right? So if you pull on one strand, well, it affects that one over there, right?
Yeah.
And it also affects this little one over here, which is actually support for that over there. And now this hole is getting bigger, and all of this, everything, literally everything's connected. So that experience led me to a place over the course of the last year where I have put down a lot of old habits. I've stripped out a lot of old programming. I've learned a lot about my own wiring, how my physical brain works, because I'm autistic and my brain's different. I process in different ways. My brain is lightning fast, and in some ways it cannot do the thing I want it to do, or I'm just oh my God, you can come up with the best idea ever for the most layered story in about 2.5 seconds, but you cannot fucking pay your credit card bill on time. What is wrong with you?
Right.
And learning to stop saying what's wrong with you, and celebrate that, my God, your brain is so fast. How fucking cool. What a great story. Let's try to pay the bill. We're going to keep trying. And that internal language of recognizing that the things that were holding me back did not belong to me. I did not put them in myself. They were installed at a time that I didn't have any control over what I was learning. And that's many, many things, like telling myself I'm an artist. I was born an artist, but telling myself I was only a writer and an actor.
That's very limiting.
Putting yourself in a box.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because the world puts us in boxes constantly. And there's a lot of things that you mentioned a couple of things about, you already know things like physical activity is something that will help 100%. And you know that. But the understanding the difference between, oh, this is good for me, and actually getting on the thing and doing it. And being okay, I'm doing this, and here's why, and blah, 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 blah. And it's, and your brain is it's self-care to go to the gym. I'm taking care of me. But there's still that part of you that's oh my God.
I got to go do it. I'm not going to see immediate gratification from it.
Well, exactly. Yeah. It's that, that neuro, whatever they want to call it, ADD, or it's what I think of as differently wired. Because I don't like labels.
I don't like labels.
Yeah, I'm differently wired, and by different, not to get too deep right away. Hi, folks. But what do we mean by different? What does that mean? My favorite question, honestly, is what's beneath that?
Well, that's what do we mean by normal?
Right, exactly. Yeah. And in this case,
we're all no one's fucking normal.
Well, exactly. No, we're not. And this is the thing, is what I believe. Okay, and I can only speak from my own experience, right? I am not, whatever, disclaimer. But what we think of as different. When someone says, I'm neurodivergent, you know what I'm talking about. I'm ADHD, I'm autistic, I'm neurodivergent, I'm different. I have a different brain. Different from what? What that means and how we learn about it is that we do not have those parts of the brain that make it so that we are naturally able to be still and absorb knowledge for 7 hours at a time and only do one thing and focus on one thing, because we are from preschool made to sit down in measured chunks of time and do one activity and learn one way. We are pigeonholed from age 3 or earlier to think in boxes. And it's natural because we, as humans, not just autistic or whatever, right? We are pattern recognizers. That's the base of our brain. It's why we're at the top of our food chain. That's it.
Absolutely.
That's why we're at the top of the heap. Our brains, and we've heard this since kindergarten, the fastest computer on the planet, the human brain. Bigger than anything, right? And the way we are able to navigate our lives and not go fucking insane from all of the data, all the stimulation, all of that stuff. We wear blinders. We have to. Our brain gives us blinders. And to make things go faster, we sort. Compartmentalize. Sort. And we do it unconsciously, and it takes resources. Right?
Yeah.
And we learn to do it more and more efficiently. Well, if you can't do it efficiently, you're different.
Or you can't do it the way that's like
right. Well, and what am I doing?
And
okay, so here we go. The first of many times we'll come back here. Thank you, Bex. But like, what are we being conditioned to do? What are we being sorted to do in school? We're being sorted to make money. We're being sorted to make jobs. That's all we're meant to do in school. It's why they're taking arts away and all that stuff. We are meant to have a place where we feel that we belong, right? While we're taught
to fuel capitalism.
To work hard and be good.
Yeah, for sure.
Do not question. You know, I really love the paintings that you paint, but we need to think about what you're going to do for a living.
Yeah, like what are you really going to do?
What are you really going to do? Because you're not going to be able to play drums forever, Bryant. Don't you know that?
Sure.
And that's the thing.
Get a real job.
Get a real job. Why don't you go work?
Yeah.
A rebel and an artist. What the fuck does that mean? What do you do for a job? Oh, thank God you're actually a real estate agent. You have a real job. Guess what, bitch? My real job is being an artist and listening to the universe talk to me.
And that's
everything else is secondary.
We had a guest on, Steve Gibbons, and
shout out to Steve Gibbons,
an amazing artist. And I work with him my day job, and I'm like, this guy shouldn't be here. This guy's very talented.
So smart.
Like he shouldn't. Like he is. Like I know he's doing it because like you got. I mean, we all do it. We all get trapped into like you got to pay your bills, whatever. But it's like, dang, this guy, he's bigger than this. You know, he has the ability to like. This is what he should be doing: is creating his art, his digital art. Does like claymation, like all these, like, and really dives into like AI art.
Right.
And I think that's a lot of us. I don't think all of us should be working a 9 to 5. That's not natural. No. We've in our minds we think it's natural because we've been conditioned to think it's natural. But we shouldn't. Yeah, we shouldn't be stuck in a cubicle answering phones for 8 hours.
It is so.
That's not healthy.
I wonder if like I think about like think about like the mills, people working in mills in like the 1900s, and like which is 25 years ago, 24 years ago. So people working in mills in the 1900s. Like, those people were just kind of being comfortable, I feel like. And the person that came up with the idea was the person that was thinking outside of the box.
Oh, okay.
And so maybe they were, like, thinking outside the box, and maybe they were selfish, and they were like, maybe I can trap these people inside the box.
Right. Well, and I think it's all, because this is the thing, is I do think that there are, I think every human, with the exception of very, very few, but 99.9% of human beings are born good, basically. And then we go through a bunch of shit. It's sort of like, comparing it to a seed, right? I'd
rather say born pure.
Pure. I love it. Yes. Because good and evil is bullshit,
kind of blank,
but pure. Yeah, a blank slate, right? Everyone is born a blank slate.
For sure.
And like that slate is filled up by the time we're 4 or 5. Like it has to be so that we can learn how to, function in the world.
Once you start talking, I mean.
Right. Absolutely.
Your accent's already made.
The human, particularly here in America, in the midst of capitalism, efficiency is key. And that goes all the way back to there. So like, how did we sort people into boxes and make it go from them being, people who were actually sort of satisfied with their jobs to people who are like filed in, they punch a time clock, blah, blah, blah. Efficiency. Efficiency equals dollars. It's why
Yeah.
Disney World will try. And don't get me wrong, I have Mickey Mouse. Listen to me. I am one of those people. I'm going to declare it now. If you do not like Disney adults, you won't like me. I'm not like a crazy pants, but it means a lot to me, right? And also, I'm a realist and I see flaws. Okay. So Disney World will charge you an enormous amount of money to go have a lot of fun and stay in a super, super fucking nice place.
5 to 10 grand to go to Disney.
Well, it depends, but I can help you with that. We'll have a whole podcast later. Anyway, no, I'm not kidding. The bits. So they will charge you an exorbitant amount of money to do whatever it is you want to do and put you up in a resort that looks like fucking George Clooney took a shit on it. And then when you go to take a shit, there is 1-ply toilet paper.
I bought one. Side note.
Oh, no,
I accidentally bought. I was like, damn, this is a good deal. Bought it.
I'm so sorry for your loss of that butthole skin.
I'll
is
crank
rough.
that shit like I'm
That's
starting
why
a
my ass
lawnmower.
hurts right now.
It's rough. And let me
That's
tell
why
you
my ass hurts
something.
right now.
When
You
you've
use
been
single
walking
ply at
around
work.
in Florida all day long and you've been taking shits at Epcot without a bidet, it is hard to use a 1-ply after 3 days at Disney World, motherfucker. That is why. You know what that's going to come in.
Joey
The
Diaz
motherfucker. That's my, like, I am sincere. Listen to me on this. Like, that's why you utilize Shipped and you get toilet paper, like Angel Soft, like delivered to the
Soft's
hotel.
gotta be done.
Like, get it there.
Oh, yeah.
Immediately.
That's a shit
Have
idea.
it waiting
I
for
was
you when
like,
you check in. The water and the toilet paper.
So I stayed at the Disney Coronado Springs Resort though.
It's nice.
That
It's
is the
huge.
shit.
Beautiful.
That's
Beautiful.
the shit.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was,
yeah.
like, pretty cheap.
Love it so
nights
much.
and
Oh, I will seriously. Like, I
good
love it
toilet paper.
deeply. I
Good
love it
toilet
deeply.
paper.
I'm
I'll give it
super
that.
pleased because, and I'm super pleased that like there have been some recent changes that I really agree with, and I will literally. We're not going to go down
We're
that
getting into
rabbit
Disney
hole,
right
but I will absolutely.
It's easy.
It
It's so easy
is.
to
It
do.
is. And the last time I went there was the best time I've ever had. I built my own lightsaber, and
nice.
I am a huge Star Wars nerd. And there was a moment. Okay, brief Disney. Okay, just real brief, but like this is exciting. This is a neat memory. So, and it's brief, but so there's this experience where you go build your own lightsaber, and it is so. I love to play. I'm an improv artist. I love role playing. I love D&D. All this stuff.
Really?
Oh my God, yes, yeah,
We
yeah.
have
I
some
ran
friends. We're
actually.
actually working on a whole D&D session
A
right
horror
now.
campaign.
We don't.
Oh fuck yes.
We don't.
Do you know
really,
Call of Cthulhu? You might enjoy that game.
Heather is obsessed, like almost obsessed with Call of Cthulhu.
Oh my God, y'all, that
That's the
game
guy
is
H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Cthulhu.
Yeah, it's best in one shots because you have something called a sanity rating, and every time you see something fucked up, your sanity rating goes down, and you cannot increase it.
That's cool.
So eventually, you go so fucking crazy that you can't function.
We've never really played
sounds like a fun
D&D,
game.
Bryant and I, but yeah, our friends, shout out to Ducky and Liberty. They're working on they're gonna have like a whole tabletop in the garage and like a whole like almost like a what do you call it, like a cloth over like a mat
Like a mat,
basically,
yeah.
And they got like
Absolutely.
figurines and stuff. Like
Oh,
they're
fuck
really
yes.
going all
yeah,
in. I'm like-
100%. Yeah.
So we're like working on building our
that's my
characters
jam.
right now.
Yes.
So we're gonna
Star Wars, Disney, Star Wars.
Yeah,
y'all,
sorry.
yeah. If y'all ever want to talk about role playing, we can go down that hole. Hole. Hi, I'm 12.
role play.
You say hi, I'm 12.
Oh my God. Hi, I'm 12 years old. I'm the problem. It's me. So they, I love role playing was the point of that segue. So when you do this experience, when you walk to the place where you need to check in to do the thing, you have to schedule it, right? You're pulled into a world where the reality for these, that they're role playing in basically is that the Empire, and it's the time of Kylo Ren and the First Order, and it's not safe to talk about the Rebellion or the Jedi or any of that shit. So when you walk up to this place, it's made to look like a junkyard. And you walk up, and if you say, "I'm here to build my lightsaber," the person says, "What? What are you talking about? Lightsabers? What is that, like a laser sword?" I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
Now we do, sir, have an enormous amount of junk here. If you would like to look through our junk and pick out some metal pieces that could be built into something, we may be able to help you with that. And then they pull out these things and you can pick out your
Like on a
lightsaber and
quest.
stuff.
That's cool.
Yes, absolutely. And then you go inside and it's only, I think it's like 12 people at a time. So it's really small and intimate. And they have this actor come out. And he is dressed up. I mean, you are in it now because you've picked out your stuff, and it, you choose like based on the things you believe, and like if you want to be in it, it is deep magic. Yeah. Absolutely. God damn, I went so far into the young Bex hole. I was deep in it. Right. Oh my God, I was so excited. When I go to Disney World, I'm like, 6, and I was just that child, right? So filled with wonder and in deep in my imagination. And so there's this scene that he does. He walks around, talks about like how important it is what you do with your lightsaber, the choices you make with the Force, and and then you build it. And he walks you through like putting your kyber crystal into the thing, and you put your hilt together. And he's talking about, this is important because it's strong. Blah, 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 blah. And then Disney magic happens, and you put your hilts of the sword into this thing, and suddenly this thing comes back, and magically somehow it is gone from a hilt to a lightsaber.
Oh, nice.
And it looks real as fuck.
That's cool.
And I was like,
yes.
and
right?
I reach in, and I'm like, and I'm like feeling it. Yeah. And so I like pick it up. Right. And everybody like, and the guy is like, pick up your lightsaber, and accept your destiny,
Yeah.
And so I pick it up and turn it on, and it makes like realistic. It's
yeah.
and it looks real, like it's a solid line
Like
that goes
electricity
up.
was
Like,
just fucking shooting through the sky.
Oh my God, it was so amazing. And like see how excited I am. I was so specific about my choices and like the color I chose and all this stuff, and I was just like completely enthralled. I chose green.
Green. I know.
I was gonna say green.
You
Yeah.
seem like a green. I don't know.
chose
Maybe it's the
green.
shirt.
Maybe it's the shirt,
Maybe
yeah.
the subconscious just picked up on it.
I considered blue, but I
Purple.
chose green.
Like purple. I love some Mace Windu.
Mace Windu purple.
I
would be
thought
cool.
about
So
purple.
sick.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
a little different. You know?
Sick.
There's a specific reason why I chose green. Do you want to know the nerd reason why
Sure,
I chose
absolutely,
green?
yeah.
Okay, I chose green for a couple of reasons. One is Master Yoda,
Oh, true.
right? Master Yoda has a green saber, although I will
You've
rail.
done like 3 Yoda voices, and I don't know if you've realized
Hold
it,
up.
but I definitely,
I didn't pick up on
I've
it.
definitely picked up on it.
Yoda voices I've been practicing since 7 years old. I was.
I felt it. I was gonna say it earlier, and I was like, maybe I was just hearing shit. No, I definitely picked up on that shit.
Yeah, I can do that. So, anyway, and also I chose it because it's the color that Luke came back from the darkness with, right? So we have learned, we've progressed past Padawan. We have now taken our destiny into our own hands. We have looked into the darkness and decided to come into the light. We have made our own tool to fight with. And we are calm, and we have accepted our destiny, and we have full
Green is a
faith
calm color.
and hope. Absolutely. And think about Luke in Return of the Jedi. When he comes to Vader, he is just has the conviction and the courage of his conviction to look into a mass murderer's face or mask covering his face and say, there is good in you. I believe in you. Deeply,
It's
passionately,
fun to refer to
calmly.
Vader as a mass
but-
murderer.
He is.
He is.
Billions and billions,
It's
maybe
It's a
trillions.
horror film.
He murdered so many people because of his pain.
They say the person who's has the most confirmed kills out of all the like horror movies and stuff is John Wick. Has the most confirmed kills. It's not Michael Myers.
Really?
It's not Jason.
see
It's not
that.
any of those.
Well, it's
see
not
that.
Darth Vader.
Yeah.
John Wick is not Darth Vader. Darth
don't
Vader
know,
doesn't
man.
give a fuck about your
I don't
dog,
know.
John Wick.
I might take John Wick.
I bet John Wick would, in an empty room, yeah.
John Wick and
like-
Darth Vader. That'd be pretty interesting.
Right. I would, what if you could
But
sub?
you can't give him the Force.
But what if you could
That's cheating
sub
for
John
sure.
Wick into the fight at the end of Empire, where they're skulking around in the dark in Bespin, and like Darth Vader jumps out from behind like a filing cabinet, and it's like, "Rah!"
I'm thinking John
That
Wick.
is, yeah. Oh, well, that's what I'm saying. Is like
thinking
that's
John
John Wick's like preferred
Darth Vader got a
environment.
lightsaber,
Absolutely, but yeah, that's why I chose green. It's because to me, it's more the color of a master. It's the color of like I've been through the trials. I know
yeah.
how to handle my
Do you
shit.
think there's a connection between like personality and colors?
I
think so for
Because
sure.
I
mean-
was drawn to green at a really early age, and now I'm more drawn to like burgundy for some
burgundy.
strange
How
reason. I mean, maybe it's like
interesting,
the Gamecocks because I've like really loved the Gamecocks, but I like when I like if I'm gonna order like a bag or like
right.
some shoes
So
or
for me,
something,
I
it's
was-
gonna be burgundy usually.
Yeah.
I was drawn to green early on, and now I'm kind of drawn to purple a lot more.
I love purple. It's one
Really?
of my fave colors.
Yeah,
and
I'm not
I
sure what it is.
considered purple, and it'll probably be the next one that I get because it was such a cool experience.
That's so fucking cool.
And it was, I mean, anyway. But the end of this experience, when we built our lights, there was like, hold it up, and they're like, oh. Then there's this moment where this man, God, he walks around and he's like giving the final speech before you like file out with your thing, right? And we're like deep in the imagination now. And he's talking about the power in your hand and the power within you and the power of the force and this and that. And the great stories in the world and the universe and the things that everyone is a part of. And at this point, I am like about to cry. And then Master Yoda, that motherfucker, shows up as a force ghost. And he was like telling me how proud he was of me. And
Did you break down?
I fucking lost it.
I
was crying and like I was managing to contain it, but the tears were rolling down my face.
That's
and,
so fucking
and when
cool.
when Master Yoda left, the guy that was leading the scene, the last thing that he said was, now, go out into the universe, go out into all the galaxies, and remember the next great story could begin with you. And he looks right in my eyes. And that was the point where I like started, like, I broke down. Like, I really broke down. There are a few times at Disney World where I have just like allowed myself to just fucking sob. Like, I just can't hold it back. Like, here's the thing.
That's fine. Yeah.
Do you think
there's, I've noticed myself really in my older age starting to lean into a nostalgia a lot.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And what do you think that is?
I think that the surge in nostalgia media is fed by a few things. I think that personally, for people, I feel like once you get into your 30s, we begin to slow down because, our bodies do, but also because this ain't our first rodeo. So all the stuff that was taking up resources, it's now been categorized and sorted away. We know how to handle it.
Oh, so what you're saying is, like, in our early 20s, like, and in our 20s, we start to we're putting those things. We're figuring it out, and then we finally realize like what we love, what we can just throw in the trash folder.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's when we start, and we're like, oh yeah.
Well, and I think also we have, because like the capacity for understanding and expanding depends on the space we have to give it, right? So in your 20s, you're not just learning like the things that you like. You're learning how to go to work every day. You're learning how to find a job that you like. You're learning the kind of apartment you want to rent, or maybe the kind of house you want to buy after you've rented 8 shitty apartments. You're learning what happens when your cat gets sick at 2 a.m. and you have to take them to the emergency vet. You're learning what happens when the toilet breaks and the maintenance man is not coming. You're learning every lesson there is to learn as you grow and expand as a human.
So sometimes you don't really have the ability to go back and experience that nostalgia. So like when you hit your 30s, maybe you have put everything in those folders and you're like, okay, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. And then you're like, oh yeah, I miss Star Wars.
Absolutely. Well, and I think that it goes even farther in the fact that like, so now, okay, so we've come through the 20s, right? Also, everything that was happening, right? So what are you particularly feeling nostalgic for?
There's a lot of things I feel nostalgic for.
Pick one IP.
We'll go with
if you feel Star Wars, that's fine. We can talk about it.
Video games. Video games are like Final Fantasy IX is one of the games I played when I was 10 years old. I got it for my birthday when I was 10 years old.
Okay.
And fell in love with the video game.
Okay.
And so I play it once a year.
Okay.
Every year. All the way through.
And it's your jam.
It's my shit.
Yeah.
You know?
And I have a similar, but I'm going to... right. Final Fantasy 9.
Have you played it?
I have a similar... I have not. Okay. But I'm much older than you. My jam, and this is going to date me, that I can play in my sleep, that I received when I was, I think, 12, is Mario 3 on the original NES.
Yeah.
I can play that game. I can finish it in 3 hours.
And when you start
the
nostalgia when you start that game.
Oh my God. And the feeling in my tummy and like that like feeling of like, I know what to do. I know exactly what to do. Oh my God, yes.
Like you've perfected
it. Go into the zone. Yeah, it feels good. It feels
great.
good. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, so I think that in our 20s, we are figuring it all out. Mm-hmm. We're learning how to scramble eggs, right? And so on. And all of these little mundane tasks that up until now, most of us have been provided for us. You know, somebody else bought the laundry detergent
Oh, yeah.
Someone else bought the Q-tips.
No one teach you. Don't really learn how to do
No,
that. You just
you've
learn
got
how
to
to do
learn
Yeah.
it, right? So that space inside us is being taken up by all those little tasks, right? So now we figured that out. We are in our 30s. Also, at the same time that all of our little tasks are being learned, that game was only 10 years ago. And there's part of you that you're still so saturated by it.
Yeah.
Because you played it and played it and played it and played it. It's not that long ago. You've been playing it for 10 years at this point, and now it's old hat.
Yeah.
It's so old that you could sleep to it.
Right.
Right. And it's comforting in a way because you are learning so many things, right? And it becomes like a background noise, like a secret language.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I'm going to use the word secret language a lot because I'm writing a book that is about the concept of secret language. I'm going to write that down.
Oh, yeah. Write that down.
because
I definitely want to get back to that.
Oh, secret language is so exciting.
I want to write a book
I
when I
love
turn
it so
60.
much. No, write it.
I
now.
thought about.
Write it now. You may
I
never
was just
turn
about to say
60.
that.
I thought about
you
writing
may
it now.
never turn 60. Look in my eyes. You may never turn 60. Look in my eyes, audience. You may never turn 60. Do
Oh,
it
you
right
know what?
now.
That is
Do
the
it right
answer.
now.
But I'll
Do it right
that's
now.
right. You've convinced me. Both of you have. But I'll say my thought process on getting into that was I'm not ready yet
Why?
because I feel like once
What's the book going to be about?
I think it's gonna be.
I'm going to write it down and we'll
just
talk
about my experience in life.
Oh, his book. I'm
His
sorry.
book.
Yeah, I'll write that down too.
About just my experience in life, just kind of like the way I perceive things, the way that I think people can just kind of go about their day and like just different, like I don't know, just kind of a way of life.
Are we not? Are we
That
not?
is what
Are we
I'm-
not writing a
yes,
book right now?
absolutely. Huh?
We're writing that right now.
1,000%.
It's on YouTube every week.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Well, and
sure.
Shout out
well,
Brew
and also,
Podcast.
at any time, you can either cheaply do it yourself and transcribe it and
Yeah.
turn it into a book, or you can go to a website like Fiverr, and if you
Fiverr's
go to
so fucking good.
well, and if you pay a little bit, you get what you pay for. But you can
by
get
the
a
way, I knew you-
transcript of it. You can turn it into a book. What you're doing right now, it's just like saying, "Oh wow, I used to read a lot, but now it's just audiobooks." What the fuck do you think audiobooks are?
Yeah.
Do you think
shit,
they're
yeah,
not
it's
books
books. It's
anymore?
fucking books.
Your brain is still reading. My God, is the story in your head or not? How did you get there? Did you read it?
I like that.
Same shit.
Just
yeah.
because you did, that's like saying to a person who is blind, you didn't read that book because you did it with your fingers. Fuck you.
Who are you to
shut
say?
the fuck
Shut
up.
the
Fuck
fuck up.
you. Fuck you. Just like
You know how
the
mad the
story
blind
of
person
Final
would be?
Fantasy. Oh, that's not a real story. It's a video game. Fuck you. There are so many
Final Fantasy
deep
9 specifically, yeah.
connections.
So many
So
lessons
good.
you can learn.
Emotional connections. And you know what
Yeah.
emotional connections are made of? Chemicals.
Okay.
So our brain wants it. Wants it.
Wants it more.
Wants it.
More.
And when you're 20 and you don't know how to fucking scramble an egg, it feels good to get those chemicals that you're used to. Give me the fucking Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Instead of it being nostalgia, it's comfort, right? And not comfort in a nostalgic way. Okay.
It's like comfort in a way you can relax for a second.
It's a blanket.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
comfort
it's-
movies for me.
It's something that, and you don't even know it anymore. That's why you can do it in your sleep.
Yeah.
And now, now you're turning 31, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now
Ooh.
you have gone through, God damn, so fucking old.
When I turn
Jesus.
30,
Hey, Brian, where did you dig up that old fossil?
it's because this is a running bit for like
Sean is a
51
great man.
episodes.
Yeah, great at getting us into trouble.
Pretty close. Pretty close.
You do know I'm quoting Star Wars right now, right?
He turned,
I haven't watched.
Pick it up. Okay, sorry.
40 episodes ago, you turned 30, something like that.
Yeah.
Not even like
It's
40.
been a running
fucking
bit for like-
five.
That's
It's been a
amazing. That's
while,
amazing.
yeah.
And now, so
His
like the
30s.
nostalgia that's building inside you, there are several factors, I believe. Number one, you have more space, right? You have figured out the thing. You bought a house. You don't have to worry about rent anymore. You've got a partner. You don't have to worry about dating anymore. You have a
that's
plan.
it.
You don't have to worry about this
That's
shit
it.
anymore. So now it started to change. It started to be a comfort that means something else. Instead of saying, it's okay, everything is still normal, it's saying, remember when I was a kid and this was so fun? And now you're not going back to the 20s where you've used as a blanket because it's almost static. It was background noise, right? You didn't really need Final Fantasy. What you needed was the muscle memory that's
Muscle memory,
stimulating
yes.
the chemicals in your brain to keep you going. Endorphins,
I think that's
oxytocin, dopamine, all of this stuff, the brain, right? It's like, I need that. So you're doing it. You're not thinking about it, but you're doing it. Now you're thinking about it. And you're not just thinking about it, you're experiencing it in a way that as a 31-year-old man, you can appreciate how 10-year-old Shawn loved it.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful.
Because now you're looking at your young self and you have the ability to turn around and say 20 years. But look at that kid. My God, he loves that shit.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Look at how good he is at it. I'm just going to let him sit in it for a minute.
Tom Brady looking ass kid.
Right. Well, and that's like, and what you're doing is you're honoring yourself. It feels good to honor you.
I think a lot of people for the first time, I don't know about the first time, but I was drunk after one of these podcasts one night, and it was late, and I just remember we were talking.
Nah.
Which one?
Which one?
Podcast where we drink beer the whole time, drinks water.
Right? And I remember we were. Was it
lucky.
off or on air? Because we've been talking for so much, I can't remember what's been on and what's been off. But
Just consider everything being on air.
just talking about looking in the mirror and going, "Good fucking job, good, good for you."
Yes.
Sometimes you gotta tell yourself
You've come a
congratulations.
long fucking way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And who's to say that what you did is successful? Who's to say what you did isn't for you in that moment, in that room, looking in yourself
There's too
in
much
that mirror?
comparison.
That's success.
You
There's
know
too
what?
much fucking
Like-
comparison.
Well,
Look at
yeah,
you.
and what?
You're good job.
Yeah, exactly. And that is an unconscious way when you pull out Final Fantasy IX and you play it and you feel that nostalgia inside you now, and it's not a comfort blanket. It's a comfort memory of, remember when everything was so simple? Remember when I could just sit in front of the TV
So long ago.
and I didn't have to worry? And that's the thing, is we're aching for a simpler time.
We are.
We don't have a space inside us yet to feel easy and comfortable and peaceful. So we go back unconsciously to a time where somebody else was in control. Somebody else is making the big decisions. Somebody else is buying the toilet paper and the Q-tips. All we had to do was our homework. And we had to eat.
And I did that before class.
And you're right, exactly. And even then, we didn't really have to do it. We just had to.
right.
We had to
Just
just
cheated.
be a kid and do what we did. And is everybody's childhood the same? Absolutely not. And at the same time, everyone knows how it feels to be innocent in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we are all humans, and I feel like our brain has to have a lot of similarities because of
Oh yeah,
the fact that we all have brains. We're all humans.
absolutely, and
So
they
we have
work
to have some
in similar ways, very similar.
they're all
ways,
they process stuff the same way, and
Yeah.
all of us living in America, we see a lot of the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
It might be different versions of that shit, but it's all the same shit.
You asked me about coming into my own.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that has helped me gain my things that I strive for now in my everyday being is ease, peace, and flow.
Okay.
Ease, peace, and flow.
And what do you mean by that?
What I mean by ease, peace, and flow is that there are as little obstructions to my feeling of copaceticness and oneness and the anxiety that I have dealt with in my life, which is a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is think of flow. My flow and yours is that current, right, that comes from the universe. Everybody feels it. You don't have to have be an artist to feel this thing. It's literally inside, I believe, every single one of us. I also equate this to, I was raised in a fundamentalist household, okay? And I equate what I'm about to say in many ways to the Holy Spirit, because it is a feeling inside you that makes you feel good, that makes you feel connected, that makes you feel like you're doing what you should be doing. You're exactly where you should be. And everything is right on time.
Right on time. I knew it was coming.
Right
I
I
know
felt
it's
it.
high.
I felt it.
I
On
can
time,
tell you
baby.
felt it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Right on
the thing, is
time.
that feeling of flow. How is the flow going? How is the river running? What's the current doing? What are the blocks that are keeping that flow from happening, whatever it might be? Making podcasts, making art, making spreadsheets, that's what human beings do. We make shit, whatever it might be,
We make shit.
right? We make
Fuck yeah,
things.
we
I
make
make
shit.
these. I make this. Whatever it might be. We love to make things. And it's our legacy, right? Even if we're not actually making things, we're still making things. We're still enacting will upon the world. We're making something, whether we mean to or not. So intentionally make.
Energy.
Yeah.
Making energy.
And that intention, so important. So starting with flow, that's what I'm going for. Well, what keeps me from flow, that really free flow, is a lack of ease, right? Well, what's causing that lack of ease? Why are things not easy, right? And being able to look at those things and say, what's keeping me? And maybe it's, a million things, right? What's keeping you from ease right now? In a minute, I'm going to have to go pee, right? So I'm
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
about that. You know what I mean? Whatever's keeping you from that. And recognizing and addressing in a way that's not like, I have to fix this, but like, oh, this is a problem. Okay, well, in a minute, I'm going to say I have to pee, and then I'm going to go pee, right? Instead of like sitting here and being like, oh, I don't know if it's okay for me to stop, and I don't want to be
Right.
I'm just like, oh my God, it's embarrassing
like-
to say that I have to pee, even
Yeah.
though human beings piss. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I'm in here with boys, and boys pee different kind of girls. Oh my God, like I could do, all these things, or I could just be like, yo, I got to piss in a second. So that's what I'm talking about. It's like, what's keeping you from ease?
Yeah.
Attack it.
And
right?
it sounds so simple when you say it.
Fuck yeah.
But for some people, it's like you're so like roped around all these expectations of you and judgmental stuff and structure.
That's given to you. You did not make it.
You didn't
it
ask
doesn't
for this.
belong to you. You can get rid of it. You can. And that's coming into my own. That's what I've been doing, is that releasing, like recognizing what's keeping me from ease, what's keeping me from feeling peaceful inside.
And for
those three things go together. As a kickboxer, I'm sure you know what I mean. You get in the flow.
for sure.
And flow is used for now even more as like an artist, a martial artist. That is a big Tai Chi is flow.
Yeah, for sure. Be like water.
And like that's how they teach it.
Yeah.
Is that it is a current, a flow that goes through your body and the universe and the mind.
Yeah.
Right. And the more you are within flow, the more you are within ease, the more you are within peace, the more you are within your life. You're empowered, you're embodied, you're present. Right. Learning to foster that presence was very huge for me.
I'm gonna get a little not necessarily off topic, but are y'all familiar with the actor Armie Hammer?
Oh God, that sounds familiar.
That's the
What was
that's
he
the
in?
litter, right?
He was in The Lone Ranger with Johnny Depp.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have y'all watched the documentary on him?
I have not.
Okay, so he not to get dark, but it's about to get a little dark.
I am the love child of Sylvia Plath and Edgar Allan Poe.
Okay, say
Just
no
so
more.
this is
Dark.
actually
So,
an Edgar Allan Poe sticker.
Armie Hammer
right here.
is a cannibal. So,
What? Like actually?
yes.
Oh, wow.
And a very good-looking dude. So,
So those two things go together.
so
Pardon me while I serve up human flesh
He
for
is
my
that. He
for
is
my
that.
own flesh
so the
regimen.
scary
I
thing.
don't know if you can see this picture, Bex. That's him.
Hold on. Your brother's saying a thing. Hold on.
That's him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So,
all right.
like,
all right.
sharp features, very chiseled, actor, probably has amazing charisma. But there's a documentary on, I can't remember if it's on like Hulu or whatever, but one of the streaming services. And there was just like how he would text women and like he would talk to women and like have the charisma and get them to the point to where like he would say like during intercourse and like sexual like encounter in sexual situations, he wanted to do like crazy cannibal shit. And
like I'm gonna cut your nipple off and eat it.
yes, shit like that.
Would they go for that?
You'll have to kind of watch.
Or
the
were
doc-
they like Hall & Oates and they were like, I can't go for that.
Oh, we're doing this.
No can do.
I can't go for that. No, okay,
no,
sorry.
yeah.
Okay, so are we cutting off the nipples like willingly, or was it a serial killer kind of thing?
It was kind of like he never killed anyone,
Oh no, but like he cut off nipples without consent.
but like he would.
Please
I
ask
don't.
me. Please ask me before you slice off.
I'm saying.
But he would
They
like,
don't grow back, sir.
he would warm them up in like this way of
the nipples.
like warm butter. He would
Pardon me while I apply this rice pack. I have taken it out of the microwave.
so he would like get these beautiful women and then like with his charisma, obviously actor, very successful, has the looks, has the money, and kind of rope them in and then like
make him comfortable.
make them comfortable and then kind of show eventually like kind of trickle in these dark sides of himself to the point and like gradually get darker and darker. But the point of that is the point of that whole thing
I'm so dialed into that now.
is the point of the whole thing is that there was a history in the family of that. So like, he was kind of a product of his environment.
Oh yeah.
And in a way, there's a line between you have to take accountability for your own actions, and you are kind of like, is it your fault?
Well,
Because I have a friend, and hang on one second.
No, you're fine.
I have a
You're fine.
friend who I a childhood friend, and I won't mention his name, but growing up, I would always go over to his house, and I've talked about it. I know you know.
Yeah.
His dad was a truck driver. His mom was like really an addict, like a pill addict and a booze addict, and really the kids just kind of had like free range in the household. And when the dad came home, it was like over discipline, abused the mom. I would be over there and hear it. I mean, they treated me great. You know, if they didn't, I would tell my parents. My parents would.
You don't have to put that disclaimer down, Shawn.
Okay,
you experienced and witnessed violence, and that is worth honoring, my friend.
And
I mean, it's a thing. I'm just saying,
no, you're right.
I'm just saying, don't discount your own experiences, and it's all data, bud.
You're right.
Yeah, because I'm sorry to break in, but we have this tendency to, especially as Southerners, to be like, I didn't have it that bad. I mean, it wasn't that bad. Nobody set me on fire, literally, and then put me in an anthill. It was okay, but it's not okay.
And I think you're right. And this is kind of leading up to what I'm saying is that just traumatic household. A household that's just, I mean, you can't come out of that. I mean, the odds of coming out of that
not
like
changed.
A decent human being is pretty fucking low. And the dad would come back over, like the mom would just like be fucked up in the bed asleep. Kids do whatever the fuck they want. Dad comes back mad as hell, over disciplines, leaves, and
by over discipline, what do you mean?
I mean like
physical abuse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I also want to give you permission to say physical assault, because that's what it is.
Okay.
When it doesn't matter who you are, especially, particularly if you are an adult, putting your hands on a child, I don't give a fuck. Discipline does not include physical assault.
Yeah.
It does not.
So basically, like, if it wasn't physical towards the kids, I mean, of course I did see some of that there. Yep. It was definitely mental abuse too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
which is just as violent.
And
sometimes worse.
I had to cut myself off from one of my best friends because he was a product of his environment. He grew up to badly abuse one of his girlfriends, was addicted to pills, I don't know where he is now, but it's like, man, is this his fault? At what point is it you got to take accountability for your own actions and be a fucking adult? And at what point is, like, he was kind of bred and was in this environment. Like, where is the line?
I have something to offer.
Yeah.
Not necessarily an answer. I honestly now I don't really look for answers anymore. I open doors with questions, and then we get to a place where there's an opportunity for another question, right? Mm-hmm. So instead of a period, we're looking for a question mark. Okay. So when we talk about like where's the line of assuming responsibility? Mm-hmm. Okay. So our intentions and our circumstance do not equal or take away or add to the impact of our actions. Okay. So if I am driving my car and I'm looking at my phone and I run over a kindergartner, and it was a super important text. Let's say that my dog is dying and I have to look at my phone because my dog is dying. And then a kindergartner is dead. Up it. Let's say that my mother is dying. Let's say that my child
very important to you,
is dying.
That anxiety eating gets you, so you check your phone.
Understandable thing you could think of. Something you would do yourself.
Yeah.
And there's a kindergartner dead. The intention is not the impact. The circumstance is not the impact. And I think that we as humans, as pattern recognizers, right? Mm-hmm. We want to sort and catalog, so we no longer need to ask questions about it. So that line of like, where's the line? What's the line you cross? There is
no
line. It is his fault and his responsibility. There is no line. Or it's like Mean Girls are like, the limit does not exist.
Yeah.
Like,
right?
The
Mean Girls is such a good movie.
It is so good. It is. And that's the thing. It's like you can assume responsibility and fault as well as honor the circumstance that landed you there.
But how do you tell my friend that?
Right. Exactly.
How do you pull a person out of that?
How do you?
Is it even possible?
One that you don't. They do. you don't pull yourself out, or you don't pull anyone but you out of something, and it's their responsibility to. And then here's the thing: this is what you're asking, I think, is that where's the point where we have to assume the responsibility and change our actions, and that is the moment we recognize, right? Mm-hmm. And I think even before that, like you must, if you're hurting someone, if you're fucked up and you're high as hell and you don't know what you're saying and you call your mother a cunt, okay? You still need to, if you have a good relationship with your mom, maybe your mom is a cunt, but like you didn't want to say that she's a cunt, but you were fucked up out of your head, right? Yeah. And you didn't realize at that time that you were abusing your mom, right? Once you become aware of it, it's your responsibility what to do with that. You don't have to carry it forever. To go to mom and say, I love you. You're not a cunt. I'm so sorry. It's your responsibility. And I feel like that moment is different for everyone because it's an organic thing. It's when it happens. Yeah. But it's when, and I feel like every human has this opportunity because I've done it myself, and I will tell you how I am an addict, and I managed to deal with my destructive and toxic behavior. Okay. And I'm not saying like, I've got the cure. What I can talk about is my experience.
Your own experience.
My own experience.
Right.
Okay.
That's how I think.
I don't have anything. I'm not a teacher. Well, I feel like the disclaimer's right. It's like, I'm not a teacher, a mentor, whatever. Everyone is a fucking teacher. Yeah. Everyone is a goddamn mentor. You guys have already taught me plenty of things just sitting here.
Oh, yeah.
So like, I can't push that away from myself. I'm not a teacher. Actually, yeah, sure.
Yeah. One thing I want to ask. So, and like you said,
you're going to ask if I still have to pee, and you're right. Yes, I do.
Let's take a break. Pen, can you? You want to write
it down, or do you want to sit in it? Because I
want to sit in it. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. I've got a good 5 to 10 minutes, and then we
that's
can.
Perfect. 5 minutes. Perfect.
Okay,
I'll pee again in 5 minutes.
I got to pee right now.
So I did too. Again already.
I got baby.
So I want to like follow your
Beer,
method, like you said. Another one question makes another question happen. We don't want to end on a period. We want to end on a question.
Absolutely.
And so like you said, they have to become aware. Is there a way that you can make that person aware?
So, and I think
help to push them in that direction.
I think that is something that, again, it's organic. It's different for every individual. I don't think that there is a set like formula. I think that is based on connection with that individual. I think that is the most healing thing that you can do for an addict, in the way that you can be the bridge keeper. It's you can't go over into the land of their life and their addiction and grab them by the shoulders and pull them over the bridge. No. They have to walk halfway. And then you can
turn their shoulders.
Yes. And then you can
see the bridge.
Yes. And you can gently stand there and wait. And when they come up to you and be like, what's over there? And you're like, cool shit.
Like you said earlier.
Cool shit. Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. You guys didn't get the pregame. But, like, there's a bunch of cool shit over there. But, like, I don't know if you're, and if you want.
Street, baby. Like, the end of Bourbon Street.
Right. And if you want, like, I'll take you over there and see it. But, first.
You got to want to see it.
Right. You got to want to see it. And also, like, even if you don't want to see it, maybe you just want to tour it. Sure. Come on over. It's fine.
I love that.
And it's a gentle, nourishing approach to saying, you're exactly how you should be. And then there's a moment where there will be a moment, if you keep having this, think of a person as like a rescue animal, right? Someone who's been through that, right? Mm-hmm. What do you do with a dog who's terrified of you? You wait. You're patient.
You stick your hand out and let it smell you.
Well, and even then, it won't get out of its crate. It's so scared, and you sit. You
leave the door
down,
open.
And you leave the door open. You sit down, cross-legged, in front of the crate door, maybe 10 feet away, with treats in your lap, and you just wait. And you don't say, "Get the fuck out of that crate." And you don't say, "Oh my," and you don't say, "Do you know how long I've been waiting for you to get out of that fucking crate? Oh my God, you are fucking up my day. Just go outside and poop. What the fuck is wrong with you?" You don't do that.
Abuse after abuse.
Yes.
It gets right back into that same cycle. Yeah.
So we sit and we are gentle and tender. That's how we fix it.
Or you open the door to the crate and you just do your
just
you
go
about your
and
business.
just go about your business. Absolutely.
Business,
Look at it as you will.
There's
no judgment. There's no pressure. There's nothing. Just look at it, right? And eventually, I believe that enough of that gentle pressure will open up a space where you, as the bridge keeper, as they keep coming over, right? You say, "Oh, you've been here a few times, yeah?
Right.
Wow, you must like it. Oh, yeah, it's pretty cool. Oh, okay, all right. Can I show you something?" Because now you've established a little bit of trust. Right?
Yeah.
Can I show you something? Oh, yeah. What is it? that is the moment you gently take their shoulders and turn them around.
Okay.
I like that.
I do
and
too.
say, look at that, which is okay. Absolutely how it's supposed to be right now. Okay? Now look at that. That's really different. But eventually that can be close to that. It won't be the same because it's yours. You can do what you want, you know? But all that stuff that makes you mad and makes you want to drink and makes you want to call your mother a cunt, that doesn't belong to you. You didn't build that. You didn't bomb those buildings.
I like that. That's
deep.
good.
We'll be
That's
back.
very good.
Or at least you didn't make the bombs
We'll be back,
that
guys.
blew it up. You did hit the button.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We're back.
Going from Yingling
Yeah,
to freaking
yeah.
nature has been, that's a good smell. I can smell it. It smells amazing. So where were we?
Next time I'll bring some craft sodas or a craft
Oh,
cocktail,
I
like
like
a
that.
mocktail.
Ooh,
Yeah, I like
a
that.
mocktail. Okay.
I've really got.
You used to be a bartender, you said.
Yes, yeah, I
Fuck
was
yeah.
a bartender. I was a big partier. Like I did not have parties. I had events at my house. It was crazy. I am extra and have been so my whole life.
I love it.
Like seriously, like some of my parties. This was like,
We could get togethers.
yeah, it was
Okay.
wow. I mean, I was maybe like early 30s and
How old are you now?
I'm 47.
What?
I'm 47.
I never would have guessed that.
I would not have guessed
I
either.
never would have guessed that.
Really?
I am the Gen
What?
X
Fucking
elder.
cheers again.
Cheers again.
yeah.
Where's Bucky?
Where's Bucky?
Pussy?
I put Becky down.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I was born in 1975. Yeah.
I would have never guessed.
Thank you. That's
You
awesome.
have like a young energy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I would have guessed like maybe late 30s.
That's
only
I was
Oh
gonna,
my God.
only
I was
based
gonna
on
say late
Love
30s.
y'all.
and that's
Oh,
only
Jesus.
that's only based on like wisdom. Like I feel like there's a lot of knowledge and like insightfulness that I wouldn't have guessed a young person would have.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm there.
yeah, there it is.
More
We're
Yoda,
back.
right? Well, and yeah, it fits too because like, do you remember in Attack of the Clones when suddenly Yoda was like a salamander on cocaine and jumping around and beating Saruman's ass, and it was like, what the fuck is happening? Oh my god!
Wow.
You know, it's that sort of
He started the
suspect.
line before he went out there.
Yeah,
He's
right.
like, we're gonna kill this bitch.
Right. Oh yeah, that was such a sweet moment because honestly, so yeah, I was born in 75 and Star Wars came out in 77, and Star Wars was the first movie that I remember, and I remember it was at a drive-through in Greer, and it was in the back of a hatchback. And
Wow.
yeah, and I had to have
That's
been a
some South
toddler.
Carolina shit.
Like that is some hot summer sticky night,
Oh,
you know,
God.
with a big chunky drive-in movie theater speaker, you know, that looks like four toasters stacked on each other that
Jeez.
like hangs on the inside of your window, you know, and looks like some crazy transformer piece or something, and you know, and that like tinny sound of the TIE fighter as it comes out, and like just the
That's so crazy.
all that space. When I was in the first time that I pushed back against my mother, to me this was not like thinking I was different or anything, because I was like 5 or 6 when this happened. But this is a demonstration of my own queerness, which I know not everyone is comfortable with that word. I just want to say to whoever, like, queer is an okay word. But anyway, a demonstration early on of my own was I told my mom when I was like 5 or 6 that I wanted to marry Princess Leia when I grew up.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I wanted to marry
That is
Princess
interesting.
Leia. And she immediately was like, oh, no, you know, you can't, girls don't marry girls, okay? But
me, watch
you can,
me.
what's that?
Watch me.
Watch me, bitch. Give me some time.
Watch me. That was definitely
right.
Joe Rogan. I felt that.
Absolutely. Well, and I
Watch
was,
me,
you know, I
motherfucker.
was raised in a pretty, I mean, it was a fundamentalist family.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, yeah.
you know, girls don't marry girls, but you can marry. She said that the compromise for that was you can marry Han Solo, and this was
Harrison Ford, a bad motherfucker.
oh my God,
That's a
how
bad
can I? Yeah,
motherfucker.
oh, Jesus.
I mean, how could I say? Oh, I guess I
Yeah.
gotta fucking
What
go with
a
Harrison
fucking
Ford.
national treasure. That
I
man
know.
is. And
I got a question for you.
well, hold on.
Yes,
I'm almost
yes.
at the end of it's the punchline of the joke, but it's not a joke. It's just a story. Anyway, so the culminating moment is I pushed back, and I didn't push back with my parents very much at all, and I at that point had not learned, like, you know, big consequences. I was only 5. I was still cute, so it was easy not to hit me. Anyway, hi. I'm funny because of trauma. She said, you can marry Han Solo. And I said, very confused, like, because it's just very matter of fact. I was like, I want to be Han Solo. I'm going to marry Princess Leia and I'll be Han Solo.
Yeah, Han Solo cool as fuck,
you know?
dude.
Yeah, like who wants to be? And I now like Princess Leia absolutely is just amazing.
Yeah.
And also like, oh my God, the General Leia Solo Organa. May she rest in peace.
That's crazy.
God, just a moment of silence.
So you're taking Harrison Ford?
Holy shit. Yeah. So anyway, that's
Harrison Ford or Tom Cruise?
Wait, as a like 80s icon?
No, who's the best action star?
Oh, Harrison Ford. God, Tom Cruise can suck.
No, don't do that. I agree.
What a smarmy prick. I mean, like
he does seem like a slimy prick.
Well, and honestly, what it is, and okay, I'm gonna go down the like hole of like self love and all, but like the Scientology built Scientology, and just like okay, so I believe that humans, we were talking about going all the way back to the beginning of being healthy, right? Mm-hmm. Healthy, quote unquote. Okay, so what's healthy? Oh, I need to go to the gym. Okay, yes, you're healthy. And I can't. Oh my God!
But not just that. You need to work your mind too.
Right. Well, exactly. And here's the thing: is like that spaciousness we're talking about. You need the space to be able to look at yourself and not say, "Oh my God, get off the fucking couch, put your phone down." Not say that, but say, "Man, do you want to go for a walk? You want to like listen to a podcast or something or a book? I'm not trying to kick your ass with sweating or whatever. I just don't want to like look at our phone anymore. You want to maybe we don't even have to go to the gym. You want to just like, I don't know, walk around the block, look at stuff. That. Yeah. Being your own best friend, giving yourself the space to do that is how you get to the gym or do the things that you want.
Yeah,
it's like you must be your own friend. Nobody is coming to rescue you.
I tell people that all the time.
The first thing that came to my mind was like David Goggins. That is a person who beats himself up mentally.
Yes.
To achieve physical, we could say perfection. I mean, obviously his body has its own issues where he's fucking struggling.
Right.
His legs struggle and everything else. He has a lot of damage done to his body. But like, I guess what I struggle with is like that idea of what if the world goes to shit and we have to protect stuff. That kind of idea of like, do I want to be soft physically or soft mentally or like where? Because I feel like you kind of do suffer.
Life needs balance.
You need balance,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And you definitely got to be able to like, I don't want to like sacrifice too much and be like, well, if I just, take a break a little bit here, I get a little bit of mental peace, but I lose a little bit physically.
Physical, yeah.
But do you? Because how much do you push yourself and how long has the accumulated continual micro damage you are doing to your muscles, as you know?
Right.
Someone who is enthusiastic about gym, how do our muscles grow? We tear them apart in tiny little minute ways and then they knit themselves back together stronger, right?
For sure.
What happens when you do leg day every day?
Oh, yeah.
It tears you up.
Right?
Yeah.
It fucking kills you. And now think about that as this accumulated thing where we as Americans, we're going to go back here, okay? The boxes, right? Started in preschool, maybe before that. How are you sorted? How efficient are you? How hard can you push yourself? You can push yourself harder than that. Well, guess what? You've been pushing yourself for a bunch of other people.
Yeah, for sure.
To make money because you need it. Because there are things that are basic human requirements that we are forced to pay for in the system that we were born into without any fucking consent. I have to pay for my shelter. The number one need.
Yeah.
I have to pay for my food. I have to pay for my water. I have to pay for all of the things that I need to be able to survive in this fucked up system and not be dead. I mean, seriously dead in a matter of just a few years.
For sure.
If you are houseless, if you are unhoused, you are going to die very much sooner than you or I. Like,
I think the problem is that we're in the predicament where we fucking have to.
Yes.
There's no changing it. That's
I
would love to change it. And you used the word revolution earlier. And I wanted to get back to this.
Yes, too.
But you used the word revolution earlier.
Absolutely.
And that isn't something that's going to happen in a year or 5 years.
Oh,
That's something that's going to happen in hundreds of fucking years.
We won't see it. I don't think
we'll never see it.
I think with honest, smart action, informed and intentional action today, it will be way less than how long you think it is. It won't be hundreds of years,
Okay.
but it probably won't be in our lifetimes.
Well, and the reason I say hundreds of years is because I don't think it will be informed action in the masses.
I think that you have absolutely every reason to believe that because of the data we've received.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how we make decisions and how we make, immediately your gut is like, that's never going to fucking happen. Well, why is that? Because of the data.
Because everybody believes that too. And then it's just a fucking snowball.
And so holding on to your ground. I say this a lot to the people I have these deep conversations and connections with, because that's what it's all about, right? That's how we heal. Is by connecting.
Right.
It's what humans are meant to do. 10,000 years ago, we were in tribes. We took care of each other. It's why it takes a village is a fucking cliche. Cliches are cliches because we say them all the time because they're true.
Yeah, they're fucking true,
Yeah, so humans, we are meant to connect. Are there meant to be basket weavers that sit and make baskets for 8 hours so we have shit to put things in? Yes. Are we meant to have artists that keep our stories?
Yes.
Are we meant to have someone who thinks outside of boxes? So we suddenly realize that there are things like weather patterns. What do those clouds look like? Oh, they don't look like the big, soft clouds. They look like the flat clouds. That means snow. We need that fucking person.
Yeah. You go all the way back to caveman times.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. That is exactly.
Our dad always says this. I about said my dad. Our dad always says this where he says, imagine how much more simple it was whenever it was just Indians. And you had the people that were very good hunters.
Yes.
Because they were physically built to hunt. And you had people that were artists. And you had people that were gatherers. And you had people that
and you had people who were two spirits.
Exactly. You had people that could do all of it. Yeah.
Not that I'm not claiming, because two spirit is a term that is used pretty much exclusively in North America by Native Americans. And we have done so much extractive and exploitive damage to Native Americans as Americans, that personally I don't feel right using any terminology that's very close to their hearts. You know what I mean?
Right.
As a non-binary person, I very much identify with a two-spirit notion and idea.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense.
And I'm not trying to be like, I'm a two-spirit, y'all, and I have a spirit animal and all that shit.
The way you put it made perfect sense.
Yeah. I find it very, very inspiring, and it is language that helps me explain where my position is.
What is the biggest misconception about non-binary people today?
That we're sick.
Like a mental illness?
Yeah. That's, I would say. I'm not sick. I would say that coming into my own, right?
And we're back.
And we're back. Learning about how to live authentically.
Okay.
And being present, being embodied, not living my life unconsciously anticipating what you think about me. So that
There's
I can.
a lot of that.
Yes,
There's so much
absolutely.
of that.
Well, and I'm telling you, anything that you feel inside, you're like, oh my God.
Just like you were talking about with your autism.
Yeah, exactly. Why am I like this? Why am I like this?
Exactly.
Well, and that whole, when you're like, there's a lot of that. Being able to recognize there's a lot of that, and then where does it come from? Right? Does it belong to me? That's really what it is. Here's some fucking baggage that's weighing me down. Here's resources I need. Here is an analogy I love, and it's part of the book I'm writing. Okay. As I said, as going through this journey, I've been in deep self-work for over a decade. And I have some analogies, because I'm an artist, that have come to me that make things sort of easy to explain in some ways. Okay. So I bet you anything, all right, that you, at the end of the day, at the end of most days, particularly on weekdays, you are exhausted. It's one of the reasons why you're like, oh my God, I need to go to the gym, but I'm just going to sit here.
Yeah.
Right? It's because you're motherfucking burnt toast.
Yeah.
You are burnt fucking toast. And asking yourself to get up off the couch and get on the treadmill or whatever is this Herculean effort of resources, right? And it's easier to sit on your phone and scroll, so that's what you do. Or you do whatever it is that you do before, while you're waiting to go to bed so you can get up and do it again, right? And there's also that weight, that exhaustion that Americans, we are good donkeys.
That's such a good way to put it.
We are able to hold a burden better than anybody. And to not question the weight we are a donkey, an entire country of these pack animals that have been given these saddlebags that, don't benefit us. And we are handled by cruel masters who beat us and heap on and on. Here's this and pay for that and hold this and carry that. And no, you don't have health care. And yes, you do have to vote. And yes, the country is burning down. And yes, there is all this division. And yes, the world is coming to an end. Hee-haw, motherfuckers.
Hee-haw, motherfuckers.
He-fucking-haw, bitches. That's what's happening is we're holding all this and not thinking about it because humans are nothing if not adaptable. We're pattern recognizers and we're fucking improv artists. Every one of us knows how to adapt. We have to, especially in capitalism. You don't have a choice.
Well, I think the biggest part, the hardest problem is just like we were talking about nostalgia, how we go back to nostalgia for comfort.
Yes.
We go back to, I can just work this job and be comfortable.
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
I can just play into the system and be comfortable.
Right.
And live an easy life.
And there's so much else because you say to yourself, how can I leave this? How can I not?
I'm so comfortable.
And it's not even like I'm so comfortable. Sometimes you're at the point where you're tearing your hair out and you're so uncomfortable and you're like, I have no idea how I can get out of this.
But I have to say that the beauty in it is that once you can find that spot where you are comfortable, then you can finally live your life a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
You can finally go back and play that Final Fantasy, go back and watch that Star Wars, even though you've done it before during your struggle, but once you've reached the point where you're comfortable, you're like, okay, finally, I can not worry about all that shit.
Right.
And I can kind of live my life. I know that, when I get home from work, I come in, I'll look at her and go, oh, yeah, I can finally live my life now.
Right.
It's great to be here, you know?
And I'm present, and I'm here with you, and I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm with a woman that I love, and I'm in the house that I purchased, and all these, super validating, wonderful, gratifying things.
But for so long, I had chased that. I can't get married until I have a house. I need to get that house.
Oh my God,
those
absolutely.
materialistic. And I finally got it. I'm like,
the ladder of success.
And I'm like, I got this house, and I'm like, I could have been happy in a trailer.
Yeah. Oh, you could be happy under a bridge, Shawn.
Yeah.
You could be happy with nothing.
Sometimes you almost wonder, is a homeless person wrong? Not obviously a mentally ill homeless person is that's a problem that those people need help. But is being a slave to working bad? It's just as bad than not having the materialistic things and
What's
living
worse?
in San Diego where it's always sunny, never rains. You're always at the beach. You can kind of do whatever. You have free will. What is better than which? Because society tries to tell us that working and slaving your life away for these materialistic things is better than letting all that shit go and being homeless. You're homeless, you're a fucking deadbeat. You're nothing. You need to get out and work hard. But that person has free will to experience and chase anything they want. Do they? Odds are no, because most homeless people
don't have the means because of our country.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. And I think it's if it is your choice, if you choose to give up America is it's like a game that we all got dealt into without having the consent. You just sit down at the table, right? And then particularly America, when you turn 18 years old and you get the right to vote, and all that fucking adult bullshit, right? It's something that you sit in and you haven't had no one's asked you. You're sitting, you don't have the structure to understand you don't have to, right? I think when someone is able to push away from that table intentionally and say, this is not for me. I can carry everything I need on my back and I'm going to be like Caine in Kung Fu. I'm just going to walk the earth. You're going to what? I'm going to walk the earth like that. That was a Pulp Fiction reference.
Yep,
That was
Pulp
a Pulp
Fiction.
Fiction reference. Thank you so much.
Jules.
Bryant is keeping up right here.
Jules, baby.
But that's the thing is it's the choice.
We got it right there.
And the freedom, right? That's where the freedom comes from, is the choice to say, I don't want the kind of shelter that I have been told I need my whole life.
And I think,
I don't want it because I have my own shelter in whatever form it is, you know?
There is some beauty in capitalism and some beauty in America when it comes to that, because I think there's some people who on the right, and I know any of us in this table really classify as right or left, but so there's some
LOL,
people
right and left. There are no dimensions.
Yeah,
Seriously.
but people on
What
the
a
right,
two-dimensional viewpoint when there's actually like not multitudes.
the
Like
people,
4, and 4 is a lot of
at
dimensions.
least, at least.
It's a lot of dimensions.
the people on the right fail to recognize that there's some people in this country that needs help, and the people on the left fail to recognize that there is some beauty in this country. There's definitely a balance that needs to be met in the middle, and I think that like most people, they don't see that. You know, like I am very thankful that I was not born into North Korea, but I am very thankful.
Or North Korea. Let's be thankful we're not born in Africa where there are cobalt mines that we are being shoved into and it's on fire.
Exactly.
And our family members are literally being stolen in the night to be made to work in caves where they dig diamonds. Like that is, you know, there's so much brutality and cruelty in the world, and it is traced back to
I actually want to get your
power,
point of view on something.
Greed and power, yeah.
I want to get your point of view on something.
Sure.
J.K. Rowling.
Do you have 4 hours?
Okay.
If not, then I have.
So
I have 3 words that can sum up literally my entire answer.
we have a.
Would you like them?
We have a.
Yes.
Yep.
I'll wait. We have a.
Now we have a trans friend on social media who transitioned into a female to a male, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Who said that if you bought the new Harry Potter game and you said you support me, you do not support me. And to me, I understand where you're coming from, but to me, it's like, okay, if we're going to get that technical, the cobalt mines, like every electronic we have is fueled from slavery. Like our phones.
Oh my God, yes.
Our TVs, our PlayStations. We support slavery in America.
I have something very relevant to say, and that is we were built into this machine, like the game that I meant, you know, the game that I said, and we are literally part of that machine. We cannot move or do anything in this country right now, sitting here, using electricity. We are exploiting and extracting. Okay?
Yes.
So we have no choice in this matter. What we do have a choice about is how much intention we move through the world with. And that is why this is relevant to me and my journey and the businesses, the entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. I own more than one business. I also do a lot of art. I connect with a lot of people. And my commitment the rest of my life, the way that I conduct my life and everything I do, my work, is it is not exploitive. It is not extractive.
I agree with that.
Those 2 things, moving forward with that intention, has changed so many things for me.
Yeah.
Because it makes, that is my version right now of stepping away from the table and being like, I don't need this structure. I can make my own, and it can nourish the world and the people I connect with. And that is revolution. But I talked right over you, so please.
No, you're fine.
That's very important.
And I understand where that person is coming from. It's like that's very personal to you. You understand that on a personal level. Not everyone is going to understand and feel what you're going through. Right. You know, and I do sympathize for that person.
And I'll especially say, like,
I
the 2 of us
really do,
because we've never been there.
Right. But also, like, if a friend is there, a person you know personally, you don't know J.K. Rowling personally, and J.K. Rowling already has her money. There's no taking that back. Taking her money back. There's no, I mean, you cancel her. Okay, she's living in her mansion, millionaire, like
laughing at you,
at you
because of her dollars.
Yeah, maybe that's
wiping her tears with her money.
That's the reality.
Exactly. That she posted that on Twitter, like that she. How do you sleep at night? Oh, I think about my bank account and I don't worry about it. She literally posted that.
And I'm sitting there. I'm like,
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there. I'm like, yeah, you can get technical. You know how many rich white men we've supported that are just the racist, nastiest motherfuckers in the planet?
Oh, yeah.
We can't stress and just diminish our mental health over some of these terrible people. Like if my friend, like if Bex was like, if Bex was, or if I was transitioning and Bex was like, you know, hey, I've been a Harry Potter fan my whole life, read all the books, you know.
I'm going to buy this game.
I'm going to buy this game. It's something I want to come home and just cut off all the bullshit and just play this video game. It means a lot to me. Fuck, like, that person doesn't care about J.K. Rowling.
I'm not doing it to support J.K. Rowling. I'm doing it just
I
to
think
support
that's
myself.
kind of self-absorbed and kind of shitty to your friend in a way. Like, even though I understand where they're coming from.
For sure, yeah.
That intention and impact.
Yeah.
There you go.
I understand where they're coming
for sure.
from.
Because I'm not doing it to support
Right.
the person
Well,
that's a fucking...
And also theirs.
Right.
Like the intention of telling you that and saying you don't support me, what is the intention is to try to connect and make you understand their, their viewpoint. But the impact of making you feel alienated and making you feel that you are being pushed away, even though you are an ally and you are, you do what you can. There's a big discounting of the work that you actually put into the world, and it's, again, that black and white, it is or it isn't, and do I think that people who purchase J.K. Rowling, whatever it may be, because there's a lot of things that she makes money on, in people that, continue to give money to Harry Potter IP, do I think that those people are assholes? Some of them, everyone's an asshole, right? Sometimes.
Right.
Do I think that those people, like my friends, right, who continue to, consume Harry Potter, do I think that they don't support me? No. Do I think that they understand what it is like to live in a world where you, as a Harry Potter fan, have been given, and an autistic person, which many Harry Potter fans are autistic. That is what motherfucking hyperfixations are. And if you've ever met someone who can look at you within 10 seconds and say, oh, you're a Gryffindor, that motherfucker is very likely.
That motherfucker.
That motherfucker. I see you, bitch, because I am you.
I see you, bitch, because I am you.
Do you know why that happens? It's because I believe, this is what I think, is that as autistic individuals, we do not have a clear form of communication with people who have maybe a little bit more structured minds. And so when we find something, coming back to secret language, that allows us to look at somebody and say, oh, you're a Gryffindor. And what that means is an entire paragraph of information that you've immediately intuited.
Right.
Like if I look at you, because y'all, I was deep. Real deep. Like it was a way that my friends and I identified with each other, and I identified proudly as a Hufflepuff. And if I look at you and say, God damn, I'm such a fucking Hufflepuff, I'm loyal, I'm honest, I'm hardworking.
So you are a big Harry Potter fan? Or were?
I was. Until she broke my heart.
Really? Damn.
She broke my heart so deeply, Shawn. And let me explain why. And here's the thing. Do I think that you are a jerk because you bought the game? Absolutely not. Because you play it? Absolutely not. Do I think you're a jerk at all? Absolutely not. And you also don't know what it feels like to be in a ladies' restroom when you look like me and someone assaults you because you're in the wrong place. The wrong place. When you just gotta take a piss, man. And then some woman looks at you and literally screams for the manager, or maybe grabs you by the arm and literally drags you out of that room physically assaults you, puts their hands on you. Maybe someone has called the store manager. Maybe someone has called airport security on you. Maybe you've been dragged out of a cubicle where you were just trying to pee. Maybe airport security met you outside because you're trans. Because you don't look like everybody else. And when I gave her so many passes. She did so many things on Twitter that were red flags. And I loved that story so much. Harry gave me such a safe place to be able to look at somebody and say, I'm a Hufflepuff, and then immediately understand, and then me feel seen. God damn.
Feel a part of something.
Isn't that, yes. And that's the thing. Isn't that what we all want as humans at the bottom of everything, is to be safe and seen? We just want to be seen. And so you could see me, right? And what's more important, that you see me as a Hufflepuff and I'm so fun and I'm loyal and I'm hardworking, or that you see me when that bitch is coming for me? When I don't have a place to piss.
Yeah.
When I go into the men's room because I decided to grow a beard that naturally grows on my face. And then I shaved for 20 years and shaved the top layers of the skin off of my face every single day. My face used to be almost bright purple. Because
to hide it.
Even not even to hide, but just because it was what society expected.
Right.
So I would be able to.
So you won't be judged.
Yes. And so that I would be able to at least attempt to safely go to the ladies'
and not
room.
get physically assaulted.
I can't go to
Some
the
people
ladies
just don't
and
understand
not
that because
get-
a lot of
And
people.
you know who doesn't understand that? People who buy Harry Potter games. They don't understand that. And that's the problem. You are not a jerk. You are uninformed. J.K. Rowling is faceless. Trans people are faceless. Now I've given you something to think about. Not that you need to be a fucking crusader for me by any means, but you have held space for me and done work for me right now. You're being an ally because you're truly listening and connecting with me and thinking about what it must be like to be afraid in one of the places where humans are the most vulnerable, going to the bathroom. I'm terrified. I have anxiety going to public restrooms, and now that I've grown my beard, I do not go to anywhere except a Starbucks because there is one bathroom and one door, and no one will challenge me.
Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of people who don't understand that, they just can't. They're just like you said. They're missing. They're just uninformed.
And they're like, it doesn't bother you. Blah, 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 blah. It doesn't affect you.
And even realistically, like Shawn and I are uninformed. Realistically, I mean,
Right, and
more than likely, we're never going to experience that.
And what? No, exactly.
And that's something. So I'll never be able to directly relate to
I
that.
am like, 0.something% of the population because I'm not just trans and I'm not just non-binary. I'm intersex. Like, I am truly the person that is like, has the thing that makes me naturally grow a beard on my face,
Yeah, right.
and other physiological differences that we won't get into until the 9 o'clock show. Come on back. But anyway,
I wish we
by the
fucking
way,
had a 9 o'clock show.
by the way, this is a ladies only show.
Welcome to the stage.
Cue the Barry White. Y'all don't understand. We will have Bex Bites, the lesbian sex tips for you later on. But seriously,
Also
though,
for men.
it's
Yes, also for men.
Please allow me to be the bridge keeper in that way.
And really, it's for women.
It is.
It's for men.
Really, I'm
women.
serving my community. But anyway, in so many ways,
I'm gonna try
do
the
you,
rag.
ladies, do you need to be served?
I didn't forget about the washcloth.
The washcloth. Don't forget.
That's just
That's-
happening.
I'm gonna pull. I'm gonna
that's
try
just
that.
fucking
Yeah.
happening.
It's a
And I know
big
Gabby
deal.
doesn't
It's a
listen to
big
this
deal.
podcast. So
Like,
same.
she'll never see it coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't think
Can't
that
wait.
was.
It was before.
I don't think we were recording.
Yeah,
but
that
we
was
can
before.
go
Just
in
saying,
the
just saying
background
it
again if you
now.
want.
Just saying it
But
now.
I mean, and that's the thing is like change does not happen. It is a dial. It is not a switch. There's no changing like that especially if it's going to be healthy or real, right? I can't make you understand what it's like to be trans by saying buying the Harry Potter game means you don't accept me. That's not true. Right now, because you don't have the data, Bex is exclusive from the concept of a trans person just because we're friends. So you're in your head, you've got something that's like, well, I don't see labels. Well, motherfucker, everybody sees labels. It's why they exist.
Yeah.
We sort it, right?
As much as I
You
hate
do. Well,
fucking
yeah.
labels.
Well, do you know why? You don't hate them because of what they are. They're neutral. You hate them because of how they're used.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And
There's
how
so many
it
times where
used to
people will like
manipulate us.
categorize something, and I'm like, I think the problem is you're putting a label on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's like
exactly.
that thing has
Well,
the
and
freedom to be whatever it is.
And like, and the question is like, okay, so what harm does it do to purchase? Even let's get past emotional harm, okay? And it's not an expression of like, oh, I don't like you, or oh, I'm a jerk, so much as I just don't understand your experience. Okay, so what harm does it do? This is the harm. Every fraction of a cent that goes to J.K. Rowling's pockets, right, fuels an agenda that promotes violence against me personally. Me. An example of violence directed against me personally, what some people may think of as real violence, which there are many forms of violence, but I mean like
absolutely
violence that like pretty much anybody would be like, oh boy, okay. I was in Anderson, of course, and any good redneck story starts with that, y'all. Hey, y'all, watch this. I went to Anderson, and I used my lady voice anyway. So, but I mean, I have a demeanor that is feminine in some ways. My voice is not a man's voice. I am way more personable, than a lot of. I'm different, right? When you just see me, I'm a dude, especially with the beard. I look like a guy, And then when you put my voice with it, it's like, wait, what?
Wait, what's going on here?
What? I'm the confuser. Is it a man? Is it a woman? I'm both, thanks. Anyway, so I'm at a QT because I drive, I'm a real estate agent. So like I drive everywhere. The upstate's my office. I'm in my car all the time. So I've stopped at the QT there in Anderson off of 85. And it was February. It was cold. I had stopped to get water. I wasn't even in the bathroom for this. And I got water, and I was my like usual friendly self with the register because people, please, I'm looking into the camera right now. Please, people, please take care of those babies at the registers at QT. They are so sweet. They're like 18 years old. Don't be fucking mean to them. Please don't be mean. Be nice.
It's like Chick-fil-A.
Everyone is mean. Yeah. And also, I don't eat Chick-fil-A or give them money, but I'm, and that's the thing is like, I'll talk to you about it. I don't judge you. Eat the fucking chicken. I don't care. There is better chicken, y'all. It does not just gay stuff. Like, there's better fucking chicken. I mean, you don't have to search far, but like, even fucking Spanx has better chicken. But like, I mean, Bojangles. Are you fucking serious?
I do love Bojangles.
Bojangles has way better chicken than Chick-fil-A. Also, yeah. Oh my God, yes. Chick-fil-A is like the wet. Chick-fil-A is the wet sandwich you get on the field trip. Yeah. Chick-fil-A is 10-year-old chicken sandwich.
Like Clutch Deluxe, like an off-brand version of it.
Also, honestly, also Popeyes is really good, and the Zaxby's chicken sandwich is so good. There's so many options that are better.
I think Zaxby's over Chick-fil-A.
Is the customer service at Chick-fil-A better? 1,000%. You know, 100%.
I looked at Heather. I'm like, Everyone here looks 12. Are we in the simulation right now?
Right.
Everyone look 12 right now.
I'll take Zaxby's better chicken over Chick-fil-A's good service.
Right, and I thank you. And this is the thing, and this is the same. This is very relatable. Okay, to what I was going to say about J.K. Rowling and how, what's the harm that it does to buy a game? Okay, we're talking about literally she's getting pennies from me. Okay. So now I want to invite you, because you don't know this experience. Let me give you data. That's what the bridge keeper does, right? Is gently, tenderly
the bridge keeper
giving you data of like, here's some things about this world over here that you really don't even, it's like going to France. How do you speak the language the first time? Because France isn't real. But anyway.
Wait.
We'll come back to that in episode 2.
Hold on a second. Wait.
That's where all the birds are from.
I've been there.
France isn't real. That's where all the birds are from.
But it was an elaborate simulation. Only the poop on the street was real.
No, I was only in the airport. I was in Paris.
You don't have any sort of proof at all then.
You passed by.
Oh my God, it's so easy to fake a country from an airport.
That's fair.
Okay,
come on. We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that.
No, we should come back to the other thing. I
feel like. There's no way for you to understand this because you don't have this experience, okay? But like,
that's fair.
Just like the J.K. Rowling thing, I gave her a lot of passes because she did some sketchy shit. And then she got challenged and she came out. She wrote this thing that was on her website. You can still find it. It was a couple of years ago. I think of it as her manifesto. But it's like her explaining why, she has every right to do what she's doing. And I realized while reading that, because I had made all these excuses for her and all this stuff, I realized while I was reading that J.K. Rowling is the lady in the bathroom.
Oh.
J.K. Rowling's the lady that pulled me out of the bathroom in Target when I was going to go change my tampon. I literally put my tampon in her face. And I was like, do you mind if I take care of business? Because she was physically removing me from
no one should have to deal with that.
Nobody.
I think we're all on a human level. No one should have to experience something like that in the bathroom. People just going to the bathroom.
And like your trans friends, like offer that transitioned to a man.
It's really you can offer to. It's not really a friend, I guess.
Or any trans person, any person that you think may have. Honestly, any person. I'm going to the bathroom. You want company? You want me to go with you? And like, I got your back. You know what I mean? Yeah. Especially in a place like an airport or something like.
Oh yeah.
To have somebody just be like, or a concert.
Especially
some giant place like that's just like, I'm going to the bathroom. Oh, do you want me to go with you? It means so much to have just one person
that's something that is like,
about. Where the airport security guard has been called in for me. Where's my friend? To be like, whoa, what's happening? That's my friend in there. What are you doing?
Right.
She has every right to be in here. Not that is my, actual pronoun. And we were talking about non-binary people, and I really want to do that, but I know we're getting close to time.
But I think one thing that I do want to say is that in the defense of the woman, we have gotten to this point where
I have a whole thing. We're talking about intention versus impact. I have
there's
a whole
a lot
fucking
of
soapbox about why every reason, and I love every woman that has love them deeply. Every woman that has traumatized me in a public restroom, I salute her because she is protecting a place that is women only.
Exactly.
You know what? That's
place.
understanding.
I love them and I hate them.
And that's exactly where I was going with that.
I love them and I hate them because they're protecting women at large, and they are literally assaulting me and doing violence against me.
Yeah.
Two things could be true.
The women that don't have a right to do it is once they realize from my feminine voice and the fact that I'm okay and I'm not here to hurt you, still.
But you also
look at me and say, "What are you? You're an abomination." Blah blah blah. And the man that was in QT that I started that he heard my voice and he saw my beard and he followed me out to the parking lot and he said, "What the hell are you?" And I just kept walking because I was going to.
No, this wasn't an employee.
Oh no, this was just a guy.
Just some dickhead.
This was just a guy in Anderson, of course. No offense to Anderson, I I actually love Anderson, but like I mean, it's just.
I work like 5 minutes.
Fuck
that place, bro. Sucks.
I wrote a whole novel.
Fucking sucks.
I wrote an entire supernatural horror novel, and I set it in Anderson County, and I called it God's Country.
You're being very generous.
I'm not fucking kidding.
Fuck Anderson.
I would not want to live there.
I got in an argument with the person about Anderson and Greenville, and he was like, Greenville's just too busy.
Oh, good. Okay.
Have you been to Clemson Boulevard?
Fucking stay out there with the goddamn cows then. Anyway, so I'm at the QT
stupid.
and like I'm there. I'm just buying water. I'm super nice to the register person, and I'm heading out to the car. And this man, I guess, heard my voice and saw my beard, follows me out. He says, "What the hell are you?" I just kept walking. I didn't even turn around. And then I heard, because it's cold, we're wearing boots. I heard him following me. And I was like, fuck. Because, I mean, it's been a while, but I've had my life threatened before. It's just a thing. Sometimes that happens, It happened more than once in high school when it came out because it was the 90s. And Gen Xers are hard as fuck,
that
y'all.
That was before Limp Bizkit.
You're hard. Yeah.
Well, imagine about Limp Bizkit fans. Imagine that shit.
You grew up in a world with Limp Bizkit. Yeah.
That was before.
You merely grew up there. I was raised there.
I don't know if that's the dumbest or smartest thing I've ever heard.
That
was before Limp Bizkit.
That's dumb shit.
All right.
Let's keep rolling, baby.
Keep on rolling, baby. You know what time
But no,
it is.
think about it. Think about a Limp Bizkit fan and the testosterone, like the man, like the backwards hat.
Honestly, I would like to say, and we can go off of this a whole different podcast, but I honestly think that now that I've had 20 years to sit on it, Fred Durst is a goddamn genius. It's all an act. It's a comedy act. It's a dude, bro. Look at how fucking masculine I can be. You fuckers are idiots.
Yeah.
That is Fred Durst. How riled up can I get you? Can I get you to burn this whole fucking thing down? You motherfucking assholes.
They are my number one guilty pleasure. I don't give a fuck.
I
love music.
honestly don't think any pleasure should be guilty.
That's what Heather always says.
I really
and
don't.
I think this should.
Does it bring you pleasure?
I think that both of you are
because
right.
Okay. So circling back, I'm sure I'm sure that in some way this brought this man pleasure to do this. So he said that, what are you? And I kept walking, and then I heard him following me, and I like glance over the shoulder and I see him, and I just keep going to my car, and then he says, "You better be glad I don't have my gun in my hand."
You want to talk about mental illness?
Right.
And
I just kept walking.
Mentally ill.
And then he said, "But I got it out there in my truck."
He said that to you?
Oh yes.
Fucking Anderson.
Fuck,
yes. Dude. And that's the thing, is that's J.K. Rowling. That's what she's doing. When you buy the game and you say, what harm does it do? You are unconsciously contributing to that exploitive and extractive machinery that is hurting people, hurting us badly. Trans people have the highest rate. Trans youth have the highest rate of suicide.
86%.
Highest, because they are being told that they are sick. You said, what's the worst thing you can? Sick. I'm not sick. I am the healthiest I've ever been in my life, and it's been since I allowed myself to be me.
We've talked about like my buddy who has suffered and who is the truck driver. Dad comes home, beats the wife.
Yeah,
there's some mental illness there. Mm. I think that there's a large, and I'm not trying to say that trans people are mental illness. I think there's people who are they're just born in the wrong body, man.
Yes.
And and maybe
literally physiologically different.
They're just born in the wrong body. But I think that there is a certain percentage of trans people, like I said, 86% of trans people who, well, it's just
trans youth. People who are 18 and younger.
People who have transitioned into male, female, whatever it may be, they have. It's still 86% of them have either thought about or attempted suicide.
I have,
which is fucking brutal, man.
I have attempted to take my own life 3 times.
That's fucking brutal.
Yeah. And I survived.
Do you think
and that's the thing. Every mistake you make,
right on time.
Is right on time. And all that bitch had to do was live, and that is what they did.
I think
they stayed alive, and here we are.
I think there is a middle between the two. I think that there's people who are born in the wrong body and need to make that transition. I also think there's people who have been abused and manipulated at a young age, and they really don't know, and they're trying to find themselves.
Right, trauma. A response to trauma.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think there is a little bit of that in both. I can't tell 100%. You which one's bigger than the other, but I think that both of those do exist.
I think that the removing the societal construct of humanity from growth and equating humans to plants helps with this.
Okay.
Because like a certain amount of plants are just physiologically different for whatever reason, right? And maybe like the jalapeno pepper, it is different because it is stressed. So when you want your jalapenos to be super fucking hot, do not water them. Because the plant responds to it by creating more capsaicin.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I love this.
Right. So here's the great analogy is that the more you abuse me, the spicier I get, bitches. Anyway.
Oh, damn.
So,
cheers to that shit.
Yeah. Where's
Bussy?
Yeah. Anyway. Bussy. I don't know what that was, but that was great.
But it was.
It was. But it was.
But, you know, look at it that way. It's like if you look at a trans person who, like what you're referring to, is by trauma, right? Mm-hmm. Spicy. They've gone through a bunch of shit, and they're trying different things as a response to that trauma. And guess what? Maybe it works. Maybe it's something that brings them peace and ease and flow. Everyone is an organic being, right? So you're going to respond to different circumstance and stimulus, and none of us grow up in a vacuum, right? Even Bubble Boy is still having impact.
Shout out Jake Gyllenhaal.
You know, right? Yes, suck it, buddy. I'm telling you, if I ever see you, Jake Gyllenhaal, I am coming for you. What you did to Taylor was wrong. Wrong. Just wrong.
Taylor, what? Taylor who?
Shh. We don't talk about T-Swizz right now.
Oh, you're T.
Oh,
T-
no.
Recently,
on Jake. I love Jake Gyllenhaal.
Absolutely.
I love Jake Gyllenhaal.
I'm not
didn't know
saying that he doesn't. Listen, Jake Gyllenhaal is wonderful, and I love him. And honestly, I am a lesbian, and I don't like the penis, but I would like to say,
however,
that I appreciate the human aesthetic, and there are men that I truly believe are beautiful, and Jake Gyllenhaal is gorgeous. I think he is just beautiful. I would not like do the thing, but I will absolutely be like
the penis.
You know what I would
do?
I would be his hype man. I'd be like, you get that head, you get it.
Yeah.
Oh, Jake Gyllenhaal. Oh, look at you. Oh, you're having such a good time.
Holding the hair.
Oh yeah, hold her hair up. That's it. Now I'm gonna get you a wet rag. I'll be right back.
And
the bit back. You always wrote it back.
That's called a third beat.
The callback.
The callback.
The callback humor.
Damn.
The callback humor. Oh, you know what the callback humor is? It's secret language.
Yes.
It's a thing that we hold between us. That is something that makes us feel like we're on the inside.
Inside joke.
That's why
we
it's
should be a
so
part of this one
important.
day.
That's why it's so important. And it's why, like, to us, the wet rag comment is funny, but to other people listening, it's not as funny because they weren't here for me to tell you this entire story that later I will, about how to please your woman.
Don't tell them.
But like the three of us shared that moment, right? And we think it's hilarious. This is why
was great. Yeah.
And whoever is listening in the future, hello, future listeners. You guys are like, well, that was funny. They're laughing. It's funny. Oh, wet rag, whatever. I don't know what that means.
I don't get it.
Right?
Yeah.
And here's the thing: is like when you have a secret language, right? Such as being able to look at someone and say, "Oh my God, I'm a Hufflepuff." Right? The secret language, and suddenly it's invalidated, or you don't speak it the same way that I do, or maybe it's a joke that I don't get. Are you laughing at me?
Right.
You know, it's hard. It's ostracizing. It puts you on the outside,
sure.
You know. And I'm not saying we shouldn't have done that by any means. It was funny as shit, and this isn't for you bitches. Anyway.
And you brought it back. I think one thing I do want to say is that, like,
motherfucker,
this is my first time meeting you. And we have a secret language in fucking 3 hours.
Oh, you can establish it in 5 minutes.
It's so fast.
Honestly, you can establish it in you. I guarantee you that there are strangers you've seen that you have that you'll never see again, that you have a secret language with. Like, you're sitting at the airport. It is loud as balls.
I already know the person.
Right? There are a bunch of kids. They are running around. They will not leave you alone. Your headphones are dead. You've been traveling all day.
And you go.
And there's a guy. There's a guy or a girl or something. And you make eye contact and you go, ugh, you roll your eyes, or you're just, or even the very, very subtle, just the eye widening, the eyebrows raising.
Yeah.
That is secretly, for just a moment, you said, oh my God. And she said, yeah, I know, right? And you were like, fucking kids. And then you went back to your podcast and she went back to her book and you never saw each other again. But there was a secret language
moment you connected.
that made you feel seen.
The Avett Brothers.
It made you
Pretty
feel
girl at the
seen.
airport.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
and that's
Not
the
the
thing
Avett
is like
Brothers.
that person where you're standing at the cat food, like, oh man. In Walmart a few months ago, there was this older lady. We're in the cat food section and I'm like picking stuff up for my cats. And she's obviously like looking at all these cans and is trying to make a decision. And I just looked at her. I was like, there's a lot to look at. She's like, yeah, you know.
So many fancy
and like,
pieces.
and I could tell like from her body language, like she was like anxious, and
Yeah.
I was like, there's a lot to look at, and she's like, yeah, my cat's really picky and she's sick, and I was like, oh yeah, and I just had this moment
With her.
with
You
her, where I was
sympathize and
like, that
you're
is
trying
scary.
to
I
help.
said, I've got 3 boys at home and they are my whole heart, and it's really scary when they're sick. You know what? My boys really like this, and like just showing this
be a
person.
human
Yeah, just be a
being
fucking
and
human.
help
That is
someone.
it, baby.
That's
That
what
is
it's
it.
all about.
Yeah.
Fuck. I think sometimes algorithms in today's time have created a
Oh, yeah.
weird norm for
God.
some people. Whether it's like sometimes, dude, you see something that offends you and you watch it, and then the algorithm's like, oh, you like this. You watched it for
Let's
8
make
minutes.
you believe that.
We're gonna send you another one.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna send you another one.
Oh,
We're gonna and all of a sudden you're creating this, like you're
Okay.
poisoning your own mind.
Why do you think realtors spend thousands of dollars a year sending out thousands of postcards? It's because the more eyes that are on your shit, the more you will sell. That's it. It's a numbers data game. That's what the algorithm is for. It's made to profit off of us. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
It's like you keep seeing these algorithms. It keeps feeding
And
and,
it's not
feeding and feeding.
controlled.
And if you never change the algorithm
And it-
yourself,
And now
it will never
yes.
change.
And that's a wider metaphor.
so
Of
it
the
is.
whole, you know,
like if you're
Pigeonholed since 3
if
years
you're a
old.
black man and you keep watching police brutality
Mm-hmm.
videos, you're going to be fucking
You're gonna be fed that.
terrified.
You're gonna be fed that.
And if you're a white man who is enraged at the idea that there is not police brutality, then you're going to be angrier
Exactly.
when you see something happening,
Exactly.
or when you're dealing with black men. Or,
So be
and
fucking
it's
open minded.
feeding
Yes.
this- yeah,
So the
absolutely.
problem is like, dude, just
data. Look at the
cut
look at the
that
data.
shit
you know?
off and just be kind to the person next to you, regardless of who gives a fuck
Absolutely.
who you like to fuck, who you like to fuck. That we're all human beings.
Right.
Cut the shit off and quit poisoning your own fucking mind with the algorithm of the shit that you love. You at the time you say like, I don't love indulging in this shit that makes me mad, but in a way you do.
Yeah. Well, in the end, whose narrative are you contributing to?
Yeah.
And what is that narrative? And by narrative, what I mean is your own personal story and how you perceive things. So if you are fired up, like I posted a thing on my Facebook a couple of months ago that got me unfriended in a big way by a bunch of people on.
Good. Weed 'em out.
It's good. Get out.
Weed
Don't let the
'em
door
out.
hit you where the good Lord split you. See
Oh,
ya.
that's some
Yeah,
southern
that's right.
shit.
I'm telling you.
I
You go,
love-
it's better with the accent. Don't let the Lord hit you where
Where
the
the
good
good
Lord
Lord
split
split
you. I'm telling you, man, I'm from my family's from Haywood County, North Carolina, but I was born in Greenville County at Allen Bennett Memorial
Do you
Hospital.
know who Fortune Feimster is?
I do not.
Stand-up
That
comedian.
blows my mind.
Oh no! Yes, I know Fortune. Yeah. She's so good.
Fucking great.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's what she's like.
Damn!
She
I
makes-
love her thing about going to like the confirmation and going through the whole thing with the she is hilarious.
She
She's so
is
funny.
And her
great.
brother.
And it's like
Yeah.
clean
Yeah.
fucking
So good.
humor.
It
too.
is.
Yeah, it
She
is.
fantastic.
She's
She's
good.
so good.
Yeah, she's got that
Yeah.
southern like.
Southern drawl.
Yeah, she like makes fun of those like, just those southern people. I don't know. I
She
love
makes
her.
fun of. She is that, and she makes
She
fun
is
of.
that,
I
and
love
she
Oh yeah.
leans into
Oh,
it.
absolutely. Because
She's
I
like,
am.
"Who
I'm
got
deeply
me?"
Southern. I love it. I got fucking boiled peanuts in my backpack right now, y'all. I could pick them up for the fucking
You
camera.
gotta
and show 'em
embrace
to
your
you.
culture.
I love the South. That's why I'm never.
I do
ever
too.
leaving.
I love it
can't.
here.
How could I expect the South to love trans people if I don't stay?
I love
I
that.
can't leave.
I love that.
I knew when I got in the car, that man told me that he had a gun in his truck and he would kill me. And when I got in my car and I drove away, because I was shaking. I knew that I could not stop. I knew I could not stop. I cannot stop living this way. The moment that I was just like, I could die today. Someone could take my life. Like Harvey Milk, there was a quote. If you don't know who he is, he's a very important person from the 70s. He was the first
Harvey Milk.
Yeah, Harvey Milk. He was he was assassinated. He was the first elected government person in the 70s.
Like all the good people get fucking
he was,
assassinated.
Murdered in his office by a fellow councilman.
It always seems like it might
and
be.
He had, and people did not want him to run it. It was a whole thing for years. There's a movie about it called Milk. He had a quote, and it is, "If a bullet should enter my brain, let it smash through every closet door." And that's what I'm talking about. I survived so I can do this. I survived so I can keep living. I can keep being here. And if somebody takes my life, I certainly don't want that to happen.
Right.
And I also know that even that will do good. If I just live my life the way I want to and I should and I feel led to. Of being,
What do you think about MLK?
I think that... what do you mean about him? I think
Like it's the same situation.
Yes,
where
absolutely
his
the
death
same.
did so much good because
The
people refer back to how much hate there was in that situation.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think that MLK, and did you know that recently it came out that everything that was everything about the static between Malcolm X and MLK was manufactured by the press? Like it came out, and like they were friends, and they went to church together, and all kinds of stuff, and they were both assassinated. They were both killed, and like they did so much, and they're still like their work is still being held back, and it's not a mistake that every picture we see from civil rights movement is in black and white. That was at the same time as it was after Woodstock. Think about the picture of Jimi Hendrix on stage at Woodstock. You know what I mean?
Man, yeah.
That bright color, all of that stuff. You think there weren't color photographers? You think there weren't color photographers at the I Have a Dream speech?
Oh, there definitely fucking was.
It's-
That's a good point.
That's a great point.
We do not see it in black and white. You know why? Because it's old when it's in black and white, isn't it?
Yeah.
We look at pictures in black and white. Well, that's from the 40s or the 50s. That certainly wasn't my grandfather in that white hood. Or even to a much lesser extent, because I didn't have any KKK people in my hand. I've got black friends. But did your uncle stand there in Alabama in the 60s and say that it wasn't okay for a black lady to go into the school and call her a coon? Fuck you. We all have a responsibility. I'm a white person. I got a responsibility, man. At least to see it and witness it and honor it. Like, fuck.
Going back to just kind of letting it go and just being nice to the person beside you. I think a lot of people have.
Applies perfectly.
I feel like a lot of people have, especially on the internet, there's so many activists out there, whether it be from the right, the left, whatever it is.
Clickety click click.
And I
What
think-
makes you money? Clickety click click. Welcome to America. Are you pissed off? Are you pissed off? Not pissed off enough yet. You haven't bought enough shit. Okay, please.
For
Bo
real.
Burnham.
I mean,
Right?
Bo Burnham.
Have you ever seen Bo Burnham Inside?
I have, yeah,
What did you think about
absolutely. I mean, I think he's wonderful. I think he's a product of his time,
I think so too.
and I think that he is exactly who millennials need.
Yeah,
1,000%.
for sure. That was-
I think
I think that's
I
accurate.
think he is a great comedic voice for your generation, 100%.
It's so weird hearing
You
you
saying
say your generation,
and I
because
can feel
picture-
like
yeah.
you and me are in the same generation.
Well, and I mean, and you know, this is the thing:
young
generational
energy
stuff and
you
all
got.
that stuff is in a large part bullshit. I think that what really separates a quote unquote generation is as we go through that development and have more space inside us. We're talking about between 20s and 30s, right? So I'm 47. Like I'm on the back end of 40, right? And
we're going to need to see some identification.
I have now. You don't need to see my identification. These aren't the queers you're looking for. Okay. Notice I said these because I'm a two-spirit, but not a two-spirit because we respect. Anyway, I just have multiple personalities.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's non-disrespectful because if you actually have it, you can say it. Shh, we don't talk about that on this episode.
You just had a conversation with yourself.
You did.
Shh, Bryant
quit,
is talking. I know Bryant is talking. I'm listening to Bryant.
That's a thing now. Yeah, shut up. That's a thing now. Stop talking to me.
Oh, I do. In here too I am. Yes. There's so many.
So many layers.
So many layers.
I'm like, oh, yes. Oh, I have layers. Yes. Like, oogers have layers like an onion. Like a parfait. Everybody loves parfait.
We talked about starting animated film.
Oh my God, yeah.
If we end up doing it, we'll have to get you to voice.
Oh please, I would love it. I
don't know who's going to do the art. Maybe Steve Gibbons.
I do so much comedy and improv. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But shit, we had a segue, but it was something important.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm tracing back in my brain. Fuck. I always like to say when the ADD comes in and sweeps something, I'm like, it's like the ocean, right? If it's important, it will return. It will come back to you.
I like that.
Yeah, and I find that like relaxes that part of my brain that's like, what was it? What? And then in a second it'll come back. But
yeah,
it was something important.
I think right on time. Come back right
exactly.
On time.
Yeah. When we need it. That's what There's a Rumi quote that says, I think it's like the next thing you need to hear is right where you are.
Huh.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's so true.
I think that it's there's a problem with just so much tension in America right now.
Oh yeah.
So much,
absolutely.
and maybe some of that
and
is fueled
most
by
of that, I believe,
on purpose.
the media being bought off
Yes.
because we know you turn on CNN, it's goofy. You turn on Fox News, it's fucking goofy.
It's all fucked.
It's like
goofy.
It's fucking weird. It's like all these tribal ideologies of just forcing it down your throat, and just like it seems like. Not to put on my tinfoil hat, but it seems like the government's trying to like
put it on.
Strap
that bitch on.
They're trying.
I have one on under these headphones, just tiny. It's tiny. It's like a beanie.
We've talked about opening up the podcast with like tinfoil hats on and just like going crazy.
I'm ready to talk about the alien stuff that's was released two years ago.
Said that.
Oh yeah.
The only reason I said that is because we don't have enough time.
Bruh, just whatever it is you're doing later, just message them.
I already bought tickets.
We were talking about generation.
How much time you got?
He doesn't. Don't
Like
look at the thing.
minutes.
Don't look at the thing.
Okay. Don't look at the thing.
I know what it was. It washed back up. We were talking about generations, and I think Bo Burnham is a great expression of your generation. And as someone who is, I'm 16 years older than you. I'm 47, or 17 because you're not quite 31.
You're 6 years older than me. What?
I mean, yeah, right. So like I have an entire, think about how much time happens in 16 years, how much goes on, how many lessons you absorb, how much you grow, all of that stuff.
Imagine a 20-year-old, imagine a 36-year-old.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Imagine a 30-year-old, imagine a 14-year-old.
Exactly. So like
you 16 years ago were fucking 14.
But like saying someone before 18, I feel like is unfair. Like when you're in those like
That's fair.
one,
well, I mean, if you want to get there, then
yeah.
don't declare it where America does. Declare it where science does, which is when you become an adult, is around 25, which is your brain fully develops.
When
so
your
like
frontal lobe
the first
develops.
think about the difference between a 25-year-old and
43 years old.
a 40-year-old, right? And like that the world of difference between 25 and 40. Okay, that's generation to me. The gap there is like I can see how and why Bo Burnham speaks for you and makes your heart sing. Absolutely. Does he make mine sing in a different way? Okay. Because he is a voice of art and all the best media, everything that's out there that is the best. And I don't care if you feel like it's vapid or whatever, even somebody who doesn't like Taylor Swift, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if you think it's vapid. It got to the top because there's something about it that resonates with many people. And that is important. Whether it resonates with you or not is not important and doesn't make it art at all. Because art is not about one person. It's about going out into the world and,
expressing yourself and connecting.
Right?
Yeah.
Connecting. Absolutely. And that generational thing is not, it's because I'm this much farther down the road. So there's comics, and every generation has media that expresses, I believe, unconsciously what we want, what we desire, and what we need as a society. I think one of the things that's a great example of this is Star Trek. Are you guys Star Trek fans at all?
I know zero.
Okay,
I know
good. No, that's
Spock
great. That's great.
this.
That's okay.
Like
You
a
don't.
pinch
Well,
on the
and you
neck
don't. And
from
you don't.
Mr. Spock.
You don't have to for this at all. Okay, but you
know.
know enough to know that Star Trek, huge IP, as big as Star Wars, bigger, been around longer than Star Wars, right?
When you
'Cause
say
it's
IP,
from the
what do you
60s.
mean?
Intellectual property.
Okay.
Yeah. So like anything that's like Marvel,
Yep.
Harry Potter,
Gotcha.
that kind of stuff. So, that IP is big, vast. There's lots of shows. There's lots of movies. There's so many books, all of this stuff. Lots of ways to be a Star Trek fan, okay? It started in the 60s. And if you look at the different generations and what we needed at the time, in the 60s, we needed Captain Kirk. Captain Kirk is a William Shatner, right? Mm-hmm. That character is a gunslinger. Like he's a cowboy. He's a space cowboy who flies. Yeah, he flies by the seat of his pants, but he always listens to his crew. They work together. They get shit done. They are wagon train in space, and he's the sheriff. He is fast. He's charming. He's very, very handsome. He's a hit with the ladies, but he's very intelligent, an incredible strategist, very, very well read. Has deep, meaningful friendships. This is an example of what was the ideal in the 1960s of masculinity, right? We're big, we're poofed up, we're arrogant, but we know what we're talking about. It's like the next progression naturally of John Wayne, who was in the 40s and 50s. He was the guy, who he went off to war and fought the Krauts, and we have this like rough and tumble, we're out there and we're a cowboy. And this is the natural evolution that was for the greatest generation. Captain Kirk is for the boomers, because in the 60s, they were coming into their 20s. They needed somebody who was a little more hip shot, who was they wear beetle boots, y'all.
Beetle boots. What's beetle
And
boots?
by beetle boots, I mean
Beetle
they
boy.
are boots that come up past your ankle that have a high heel. It's what the Beatles popularized. The Monkees wore them. If you were,
Beatles.
it was
Beatles.
what,
Okay, yeah.
right.
Monkees, yeah.
And there was like at the time, there was a sort of
Beetle
a
boot,
fashion
the Beetle
movement
boy.
called the mods, and the mods wore these like very because it was modern. You were quite modern if you
the
were
mods.
wearing these sorts of clothes, just like glam rock, David Bowie, and
Yeah,
Iggy Pop, that kind of
absolutely.
stuff. It's that sort of
Iggy
a
Pop.
thing. Yeah, right. And so, but this was in the 60s, and this is why they made these fashion choices, is we are unconsciously or maybe consciously connecting with that generation and what it needs. So the 90s come along. Okay. Well, now the boomers have aged up, right? And Gen X is coming up. Okay. What do we need? We don't need Captain Kirk. We don't need a gunslinger. What we need is Captain Picard, who is a Renaissance man. He plays the goddamn flute. He writes poetry.
Right.
He's still attracted to the ladies, but he's very stoic. He is someone who is incredibly, again, well-read, intelligent, and he is not fly by the seat of his pants. He is the American government.
Control.
Absolutely, 100%.
control.
He is the natural evolution of 80s into 90s, where we are controlled, we are successful. If you look at the Enterprise D, which is the ship in Next Generation, that motherfucker looks like a goddamn Chrysler minivan when you look at the inside of it. It looks like the most expensive, high-level LHS bullshit you have ever seen. All the fucking leather padding and the fucking wood, all that bullshit.
Right.
That's exactly
And the
what
fucking outlet.
the man who was making a 6-figure salary in 1991, that's what he
fucking
drove his
money.
kids to soccer practice in.
Yeah.
And that's why it's there. Bo Burnham is what we need, which is the world is ridiculous. I am crushed. I am so traumatized that I'm laughing about it. Because nothing matters here.
Yeah.
And
That's Bo
I'm the
Burnham.
voice for an entire generation that was raised by Gen Xers who tried really hard and we gave you a lot of shit, but we also gave you a lot of trauma. Sorry. But our parents and intention versus impact, you know, and like what Bo Burnham is saying is, I am so fucking hurt and it's okay because I can laugh and I can make you laugh and we can sing songs and the world is still fucking beautiful. So let's fucking laugh about it. Make a goddamn TikTok video about
that's true.
this, please.
Yeah, for sure.
Please. And it gives you a moment where you are not crushed, where you are not thinking about rent, Or you're not thinking about, God, I got to get up so early tomorrow. You're just laughing.
Welcome to the internet.
Yeah, welcome.
Take a
I mean,
look
and
inside.
also the banger, they're really going to make me vote for Joe Biden. You're telling me the best choice is Joe Biden.
So dumb.
And like, and that's the thing though. Like, sing it, buddy. Sing it for all of us. And like, I feel like I probably
Jeffrey
have.
Bezos.
Right. Oh my God. Oh, fuck. I forgot the fucking Jeffrey.
Entrepreneur, born in 1964. Jeffrey Bezos.
Fucking love it. It's
Fuck
a
their
fucking
wives,
banger.
drink their blood.
That's
Come on, Jeff, get them.
It's like the greatest like keyboard
So
solo.
good.
Amazing. For the next podcast, we're going to talk about why I love Mark Rebier so deeply.
Okay.
Do you know Mark Rebier?
I don't.
Motherfucker.
Motherfucker.
Okay, before you leave, it's a whole thing, but I gotta. To those of you who are listening that know, I am a flamingo. Okay. Oh my God, so good. Give me your grandmother's. Oh no. But yeah, I feel like we came to the question mark.
We came to the question mark.
Yeah, right.
There's no period. We came to the
It's like
question mark.
opening doors,
Right
opening
on time.
portals, right on time.
yeah.
Absolutely. Next time we'll talk about time is not scarce, but it's not. I mean, like it's the concept very briefly of time is not scarce for me. This is something that helped me diffuse so much anxiety for myself. Is that what we think is that, oh my God, I'm running out of time. I don't have time. Holy shit, I'm late. I haven't done enough or whatever. I don't have enough time. The truth is that we actually have every moment of time that we need from now until the time we die, whenever that is, right? Think of it like currency. That's really the only currency we really have is the time, right? And so we think of it as time coins, okay? So now thinking of this way, I have every time coin I could possibly need in my time purse. We get to decide where to spend our time coins, and we have complete control because we're going to the store, right? We have the list already made. Who wrote the list? Did you write it?
You tell us.
You got to tell yourself that.
Yeah,
I mean,
true,
that's the thing.
true, yeah.
You know, the list is, and that's a metaphor you can take in a lot of ways.
That's fair.
You
That's
know,
fair.
and it helps because to me, time not being scarce. What that means, let's say I'm late to my hair appointment. Right, my hairdresser Amanda Moonchild. Moonchild's salon, motherfucking amazing, motherfucker. It's so fucking good. Purple hair, Luna moths, witchy, woo woo shit. Go see her. I was on my way to see her, and I was like, I don't know, 5 minutes late, and I was stressing. I was like, oh my God, fuck. Amanda's waiting on me. Amanda's thinking, oh my God, I'm such a flake, blah, 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 blah. And then I suddenly realized, because I had just started sitting with this, that time is not scarce. And I was like, okay, let me apply that to this. What this means is that I can choose to sit here and say to myself, oh God, oh God, oh God, what is Amanda thinking? Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. She's waiting on me. She's looking at her watch and being like, that Bex, late all the time. What a fucker. Or I could take a breath. Very important. Please oxygenate your brains. You need it. Oxygen and water. So important. And I could say to myself, I could remind myself that my friend Amanda has some, her joints hurt a lot. So maybe that 5 minutes, she got to like sit for 5 minutes and not be on her feet. Maybe she had a chance to take a breath and go to the bathroom before she had to be turned on again. For me, maybe she had a chance to check her phone or send a text to somebody. Maybe she has time coins to spend however she wants to. Yeah. And it's not my job to walk up behind her at the register and be like, oh, that's not on your list. That's her fucking job. She made the list, or whoever who made the list, right? That's her fucking responsibility. There, something made my list, me and whoever and whatever, and I'm responsible for that, but not her. And like, that is a big realization.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like,
sure.
and being able to say, when you have that feeling of panic inside you, oh, I'm running out of time. Well, I mean, what does that mean? Because ultimately, you know, and this, you know, going at the very beginning, I told you I went through a big loss, you know, a long time ago. And I think that's something my brain naturally comes back to, is that deep, deep moment of, does this matter in the last 10 seconds?
I thought that's a great spot to end it on.
I think it is too.
Matter.
Right on time.
Yeah,
and
right on time.
I'm gonna be honest, I feel like there's so much left on the table
Oh my
with
God.
these conversations. Like
But that's every conversation.
Wait,
really.
yeah. Word.
And
Yeah.
we
That's every
we
conversation.
barely scraped the
Yeah, man.
surface.
That's always,
Yeah.
man. I love
We-
it.
Or the
It's so good.
yeah.
It's like we just got past like the opening crawl.
Yeah,
So you're saying-
yeah. And we cannot wait to have you back.
Oh man, yeah, this was fantastic.
And-
This was fantastic.
And while we're ending, is there anything that you want to say? Like, how can people find you if people want to follow you? I know you have a podcast coming up. Is there?
I do have a podcast coming up.
Will it be the Bex Miller podcast?
Yeah, it will be the Bex Miller podcast. It might have like a sub name or something. But yeah, it's me and it's my experiences, my work, my art. And my website is now live. It's bexmiller.com.
Okay, nice.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're on the rights.
Bexmiller.com, yes. And also I'm on Instagram and Captain Bex Miller. CAPTAIN, just like the yes, Captain.
Captain,
Which
my
is
captain.
yeah, oh Captain, I love Uncle Walt so much. My barbaric yacht, bitch. Yeah, baby. That's We contain multitudes. All of
Thank
us.
you so much for coming here.
Thank
and
you.
being
This
here
is
It's
a
so fun to
podcast.
meet you.
It's so fun to meet you.
This is my
too.
first time
It's
meeting you. Now I'm
fantastic.
sad
Yeah.
that this is the first time.
Yeah, no, I'm
Like, it's
ready.
not enough.
It was right on time, bud.
The charisma,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
the charisma is through the roof.
So good.
Yeah.
This
The
was great.
energy
I
in
feel
this
great.
room
Yeah.
won't be able to translate through video and audio.
Oh well, there will be a portion. That's the thing. Energy transfer. It's so important, and like the vibe that's in this room right now. You guys already have such a beautiful vibe between the two of you. This resonance. I mean, you're brothers. You came up in the same home.
Right.
And can really feel this like deep love and affection, and the shared history and all this stuff. And there's this deep vibe that you're so welcoming, and also I feel like we have very similar vibes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
that resonance, I think of it, we talked about the web and the strands, like I think of it as like chords in music, where like we have this strand and then this, and now this is in, and now
Yeah,
suddenly
right.
we're making this beautiful noise together, and all these beautiful noises are going out there. And while the energy's not the same, it will still be there in some way.
If you're listening to this and this is your first time, because I think we're
Cheers.
going to get a lot of viewers
Cheers
that
to
we don't
lucky.
usually get because of you. I think there's a lot of
maybe.
people who follow you, and rightfully
I don't
so.
know.
And,
I have very, very bad directional sense because I'm autistic. Please don't follow me. Use GPS. Thank you.
if you're listening to this and this is your first time listening to the podcast, thank you so much. We love you.
You are deeply loved. Please never hate yourself, because you should never hate yourself, honey. Please. The self-hate does not belong to you. Let it go.
But also switch over to YouTube and subscribe and hit that like
Yes.
button.
Thanks.
We love you
Thank
guys.
you,
We love
Bex.
you. Take
And
care.
Thank
cheers,
you,
y'all.
Bex.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.